All time is meaningless now.
I mean, it is. I mean, time has always kind of been meaningless. Like, schedules aren't meaningless. Like, schedules are important, and you do age, and aging isn't meaningless. But time itself is bullshit. You want to know how I know it's bullshit? They just decided that 2 a.m. is fucking that fucking 3 a.m. is fucking 2 a.m. or whatever, like a fucking week ago. It just fucking decided that shit.
Up. It's just made up.
Just fucking made up. Like, time is utterly meaningless. So, yeah, I guess, like atoms and shit have half-lives or some... But, like, that's on such a large scale that it is unfathomable to me, you know? Time...
We just agreed that it was 3 a.m. now.
Like, oh, fuck this. It's just like, yeah, and then they're gonna fucking do it again. It's just, oh, suddenly it's just 1 a.m. or whatever, or it's 2 a.m. again. I don't know how that fucking shit works. I just know that, like, I watched movies all night until early in the a.m. per usual, and then I woke up the next day thinking it was like noon, but then like, nah, it's 11. You know, after going to bed at what felt like to me 6 a.m. I have no fucking clue. I just know suddenly everyone was like, nah, it's a different time.
Bees experience time, yes.
Do they?
Yeah, there's a whole big thing about it. It's I'll shoot it to you afterwards. Oh shit, we're live. I forgot. Yeah.
Ooh, we're live.
Coming at you live.
No, movies, Hades.
No, see.
No, come on now.
Hey, listen.
Wishful thinking there, bro. I was like, that can't be our cold open. But then we talked about how time is bullshit, and that can be our cold open. I see chat gang showing up, popping off already. Welcome, everybody. It is what y'all have been waiting for this entire time. I see Hades dropping 1,000 RDP, Tomb King Tristan dropping 1,000 RDP, all to remind everyone that chat gang ain't nothing to mess with. And of all the times not to mess with chat gang, this is the time to not mess with us. It is the Great Enhancening. 24-ish episodes of one topic, kinda.
Dude, your trailer for that cracked the fuck. Like, I was cracking up at that. With the big, like, 2001 intro.
Yeah, the 2001 Space Odyssey. Yeah. Thank you. So, the Great Enhancening. If you're just now joining us, if you've never seen the RantCast before, welcome. I am the magical Mr. Mephisto, the most dangerous man in Age of Sigmar. I'm joined tonight by the Doc King himself, the king of chat gang, and the SJArcade, oil baron extraordinaire. Both
greasing it up and rolling them out.
Both of these epic lords of Khorne will be joining me tonight because we are doing the Great Enhancing, starting with Blades of Khorne. What is the Great Enhancing, you ask? Well, if you don't know now, you know. We are going to make artifacts great again. We're going through the various faction armies, artifacts, and making them awesome. It's kind of based on the episode I did. I think it's episode 1. It might be like 102, 103 of RantCast with Vince Venturella, where we made generic artifacts kind of cool and talked about what we'd like to see. We're going to be now the Great Enhancening. We're going to enhancenate. Yes. Yeah.
Enhancenate, that's good.
Yeah, we're going to enhancenate all of the artifacts across AOS.
If bloodsecrate is a word, then enhancenate is a word.
I agree.
Such a dumb name. I've always hated that name.
He secretes.
He's like
blood.
desecrating. He's consecrating.
But,
no, it's bloodsecrating.
It's like consecration, but blood secretion. Like it's fantastic. Not secretion, mind you. That would be a totally different thing.
Blood secretor is a Nurgle thing.
But
That's how we get blood slope round.
Yeah, but we're here to talk. We're here to talk Blades of Khorne tonight. Obviously, it's RantCast, so we're gonna indulge some rabbit holes as they come along. Rob, first-time chatter. Look at that big shirt, he says, and dropping a tier 1 sub for 2 months. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Did I say 2 months? 2 months. 2 years of support.
Almost
Thank you
3
so
years.
much, man.
Oh, and here comes the Lord Whale.
See, the secret, Halo figured it out. This is a CIA keyword that causes subs. Is black with yellow writing big. It's a trigger for them. They go crazy for it.
Yeah.
It's CIA keyword. Oh, sorry. I have the FBI keyword.
Yeah. So you were talking about time being meaningless. Meth. Where Khorne is exactly where it was in 2020, which is kind of 2.5, not quite 3 and 2, not quite 2 and 3.
All those battle tomes for the most part that came out in that span of time. I went on record and I said if Games Workshop can pull off updating every army's book this year, I won't be too brutal on them, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of the just happy that it's here type thing. But I remember the Blades of Khorne book coming out and just being like, Doc, tell me what the fuck I'm looking at here.
What did I say? I said...
kind of like
it was this straight... I was really salty at the time because they took away all the cool stuff. I was just like, all right,
It's a beta test for 2.0 rules, and it shows. It's got wholly within all over the place. It's got a little bit of confusing keyword bingo that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Worst. GSE is
and then a lot of stuff that just doesn't do anything.
And then fun stuff. Fun stuff that is no longer fun.
Yeah.
It's just do mortal wounds.
Yeah, like the Wrathmongers were always like one of those super unique, really cool, what is this?
This is where all our fun is. Scarbrand.
Yeah.
Concentrated
he's a lot of fun.
Evil of 380 points.
I've deleted Archaon. I've deleted everything that doesn't have protection from getting one shot. It's amazing.
He's so beautiful to just go, I rolled 2 dice. That'll be
36 mortal wounds. So good.
So Frank and I spent the last, 6-8 months trying to figure out a way to play Khorne without Archaon, because anytime you see
Khorne Labs TM,
the Khorne Labs TM, anytime you see they just did a meta watch and Khorne is there. Oh look, we have 5 4-1 finishes. Those are 100% Archaon plus a couple Bloodthirsters, minimum battle line Blood Reavers. No way it's anything else. And so we tried our hardest to find something that works. What do you think with what you've figured out so far, Frank?
Yeah, I found a list that I quite like, and I think you found a list that you quite like.
Yeah, I mean, I like that it's just a meme now, but it's we found so many
it's all right.
And thank God that FAQ was like, oh, hey, buddy, do you want some free Beasts of Chaos with Mark of Khorne? Because that was like
tell you
the
about
thing they've done to us in so long.
I did want to do a little bit of a state of Khorne before we get into this, because this is our opportunity to just, as I'm doing the Great Enhancing going forward, it's an opportunity to check in with each army. Now I try to make evergreen content. This is probably going to be my content that ages quickly, because who knows, it might be new books coming, GHBs have
age quickly.
Yeah. So stuff like this ages quickly. So I want to just lay that out there. If you're from the future watching this, hey, that basketball and or football and or baseball game was pretty radical, wasn't it? What about sumo? Awesome. Basho.
Look how fat I used to be.
Look at how much weight I've lost.
Yeah.
From the future, hopefully you still get something from this, because I think there's going to be a thought process that goes behind a lot of this stuff. We have tons of foresight. You watch this and you go, look at how they predicted everything perfectly, and yeah, awesome. But there's a thought process behind this. I want to check in with Khorne in a second, but before we check in with Khorne, we have some first principles. Well, no, let's check in with Khorne first. Where is Khorne at in 3.0? I know there was a Meta Watch article. I didn't read it. Maybe y'all did.
It was not about Khorne. No one's talking about Khorne.
Nobody's talking about Khorne. Do they feel like they're utterly irrelevant? Is it just Legion of the First Prince, Tzeentch, Archaon, and Khorne is totally on the back burner? y'all have been like just grinding out Khorne games, probably talking to other Khorne players. Where's Khorne right now?
Khorne is red Archeon. That's what Khorne is.
I hate that.
You paint Archeon red, and then he hits things really good, and that's great. But there is some really fun stuff you can find if you really grind it out and you really practice this army and you really figure out what you're doing. We can beat anything. Like if you looked at that list from the MetaWatch, everything under the halfway point, we have a pretty good game against, and everything above that halfway point is lucky dice.
Positioning has always been a big part of this particular book because of all the restrictive ranges, and like you kind of want to control which combats you're in and not, because you don't want your blood tithe to go higher than you actually want it to be. And I feel like there's a lot of practice needed to get to that level.
Yeah, you don't want to waste blood tithe points.
No, the worst thing is like, I want to spend 3 and now you have 7. You're like, I didn't want this.
Well, because now you feel the pressure that you're going to empty out the blood tithe pool and so on and so forth.
Right.
Like Khorne is in such a weird place because it feels like it should be like a Timmy army, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's a Johnny, like, it is a hard line Johnny army.
It's a Johnny mnemonic army, because you have to crunch the numbers to find the exact. You have to moneyball this army. This is a moneyball army. Okay, can I get the proper DPS out of this? Can I get the spacing, the position? This guy gets on objectives, doesn't move. Like everything has to be perfect. And like
make sure I blue ball Scarbrand.
Yeah. Make sure Scarbrand is angry. If you fight with Scarbrand and he's not angry, you wasted that turn. He should never be in combat if he's not angry. But like in 2.0,
same here.
In 2.0, blood tithe, for the most part, probably people were using it to spawn flesh hounds. Occasionally, I got a bloodthirster out of it.
Auto unbind. I saw a lot of auto unbinds, but that could be the armies I play.
But now that we
3 and 4 were the sweet spots.
Heroic willpower allows you to just get a free dispel, so never waste your blood tithe on that. Now it's all about number 3 and number 4. Murderlust.
I've always liked 3 and 4.
Yeah, the free move or free charge.
Move in the hero phase, in the hero phase, not your hero phase, in the hero phase.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so you get to jump on your opponents.
Yeah, when I caught Tatnip, his Prince V was about to get ready to. He was casting his spells and getting all powered up, and was like, "Actually, I'll charge my Demon Prince and catch you, so you have none of your charge bonus, and you'll probably whiff against this all-out defense Bloodthirster, or I'm sorry, Demon Prince."
Oh.
Or if you need that extra oomph, you drop a 4, and now you're fighting in your opponent's hero phase an extra time with Scarbrand to get a whole nother round with Slaughter in case he got stuck.
Yeah.
So 3 and 4 is where you live.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, I play with 18 models now, so like blood tithe is real tight. Tight.
That's kind of the problem because both you and I are both on oh my god, Skull Crusher Battle Line.
Yes.
Because they can take a hit. They don't do any damage, but man, they can sure take a hit.
Yeah, for 0 damage.
They have 5 wounds each, so they count for
2.
extra when capturing. Yep.
3-up armor save natural, and an 8-inch move and a mortal wound on the charge. So you stick them in somewhere to set an objective and hope they last for 3 turns.
So
Scarbrand's doing something.
So just real quick here, the Lord Will dropped 5 gift subs, little 5 dropper in chat there, and G-Dead also with 5 tier 1 gift subs. So thank you both for supporting me and supporting the chat. Remember to spam the emotes anywhere on Twitch, but also in Discord. I know we got a lot of flats here in chat gang, big chat gang or flat gang. I don't know. I don't know what happens when we cross pollinate like this, but
the mega powers.
All flat gang.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's just Voltroning. But my emotes actually work in Haywo's Discord because I set up, if you're a sub, they will work across all of Discord's platforms. So be sure to spam them there too.
Technology.
Meph is always looking submissive and breedable, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't think that's what I said. But I more like total world saturation is really what I'm going for here.
Complete global saturation.
Thank you. I knew if I misquoted it, Frank would quote it properly, and it would be better that way.
I say that like once a week, probably. I love that line.
Outside of all that,
Press X to hit boulder or punch boulder. Still just like
the zoom out on Khorne, and we're not going to do like an army book review or anything. Like,
No.
Bloodthirsters are glass cannons, absolute definition of 14 wounds, 4 armor save, no shrugs. Like, if you're not going to put an amulet on it, which is the point of this show, to delete the amulet, stop taking the amulet, then they die real easy. If it's a demon that's not a fleshhound, it's garbage.
Yeah.
In this book, all of them.
Yeah, Oil Barons all showing up. Jupe's dropping out. Who, by the way, Jupe's is going to be joining me for the Great Enhancing Soul Blight Edition next month.
That's going to be a good one.
That'll be a good
There's
one.
There's a lot of room for fun there.
We have some fun heroes who have, luckily they were early books, so all of their abilities are auras when they do their command abilities. A lot of them are auras, a lot of them aren't pick, which is great. And we have the Bloodsecrator, which is like the greatest hero ever.
Always the best hero we've always had. Hero. He got nerfed and he's still good.
Yeah, he'll never not be good. As long as he's given +1 attack and reroll successful casting for enemy wizards, he'll never not be good.
We'll always remember you, Gore Pilgrims. The best battalion there ever was. Just making that thing 36.
Oh, Gore!
Remember when you had to plant the staff to get the bonus?
Oh yeah, you had to put it down.
When he couldn't move.
I was playing when I was still playing Beast of Chaos. Oh, not playing Beast of Chaos. I've just been kind of in a self-imposed hiatus or whatever right now, sabbatical from AOS with real humans. But when I was playing BOS, or BOC, Gore Pilgrim, Brass to Spoilers was a fantastic combo. Like, you got
that was a cool list.
Yeah, like such a great little list. Like, but I guess what I'm saying is we're asking, did losing battalions hurt Khorne maybe more than other armies? Because everyone kind of got hurt. Yes, no, but I feel like if we have like a modal or like a median in like outcome, is this? Did they get hurt worse as much as, or like not as bad?
I think as someone who owns 15 Skull Crushers, the loss of Brass Stampede certainly has certainly hurt. That was quite the investment. That and Gore Pilgrims, I think. Also Council of Blood. That was a big one. And I didn't run that build, but I know a lot of people did the Bloodthirster Battalion, and that was huge.
Yeah.
Probably as much as G-Dead saying as much as. Holy shit!
CJ there he is.
CJ Yobusta with the
Grease King
octuple grip.
Yeah. He gifted so many. I can't see how many he gifted. 40 tier 1 subs
40
to chat.
8 for Khorne. 8 grips for Khorne.
Yeah. 8 fivers or 5 eighters. Yeah. And G-Dead gifted one out to Joanna, who's would be the Zumi Empress, the co-founder of Chat Gang. Yeah. So
no C, holy shit.
Yeah, Joanna getting that. And I just wanted to point out real quick, because credit where credit is due. All the Chat Gang emotes, all those emotes you enjoy right now, do you know who made them? The artist who refuses to let me pay him, so I just send him models sometimes.
Hey, to be fair, I still the transparency is still fucked on the Catacross one, and I don't know how to fix it anymore. It's super fucked. And I've fixed it 4 times.
This guy over here.
Oops.
The Doc King. So truly, when I say that the Doc King is the king of Chat Gang, understand that he helped forge this shit. So I love that you're helping kick off the Great Enhancing. And Ruby Rod is just going to keep showing up and blotting out the sun, because that's what 40 gift subs do.
Here, maybe if I put my face right here, they'll just can't see me anymore. Off my Ruby the rest of the show.
Busting.
So, losing battalions, kind of a big deal, but I don't know.
Because we don't have the greatest sub-factions by any stretch. They're not focused at all.
Reapers
if
of
they are
Vengeance
focused,
is
they're
pretty
focused on bad things.
strong.
Which
They
one
have
do you
they all have like one good thing, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
the rest
Reapers
is like
is
whatever.
probably the meta. I
Yeah,
tend to run
that's the meta
Tortide just because everything's mortal and I'm rerolling stuff on objectives.
I usually go naked so I can get the my beloved Gore Cleaver artifact. Speaking of Gore Cleaver artifact, hey, it's pretty good.
Oh, and you got kind of buried and lost in the shuffle there, but thank you so much for the biddies there, Lord Will.
47 bits.
Bits. Yeah.
Bits.
Yeah.
I will
Cool.
say another army, which is my second love. We were talking before the show. Nighthaunt was another army that was ripped apart losing battalions. Because like Death Riders with +1 to charge and your slot machine double attack goes off on 9s instead of 10s. Like I successfully did that with a black coach at tournament 5 turns in a row. Successful charge blow up, successful charge blow up, successful charge blow up. Like it was a beautiful slot machine of destruction. Now it's just gone.
When it
Never come.
Yeah.
It'd be a great Nighthaunt sub faction to give like hex rates and black coach +1 move and charge on the
It
night
should
end.
base be 9 inches across the army.
That's true.
There is no reason for them to, rabbit hole number 1 of the night, ching, like ticket if you're playing the chat gang
Motion
drinking
1.
game, have a sip of milk or something else, but rabbit hole number 1, it should just be 9 inches. It's that like Vorthos design thing, like it just makes sense. 9 for 9, like that kind of shit. Where like you teleport outside of 9, it should be a 9-inch charge. You get the the 3 bars or the 3 cherries on the slot machine. There's no reason it's not 9 inches.
Yep.
Make it 9 inches across the army. Maybe make it to where like there is a sub faction that games it for like a unit or something to an 8 or even a 7. So half the time this one fatty. So like there's a sub faction that's just called the Black Coach sub faction, and its whole thing, Death Riders, yeah, sure, and the Black Coaches and Hex Wraiths get to pop off on a 7 or something, and that's like awesome for them, or an 8, whatever it is, right? But it should just be blanket 9 across the army. No reason not to.
Let's make sure the Nighthaunt Enhancing is like the last one, so maybe we have a book to talk about.
Yeah,
by then.
yeah, we'll see.
Otherwise, it's
I assure you, they will fuck up the artifacts of that book. So this content will be evergreen in that sense. Like I'm kind of doing a Babe Ruth and pointing at the fence, and I'm like 24-ish episodes. Like it's fine. I'll still be able to do the next battle tomes as they come out.
GW, I dare you to not make 1 in 6 good artifacts.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've already just determined that I am James Workshop. Like, it's like a Tyler Durden state, though. Like, I can't control it on purpose. It's just like I fall asleep and then like I get my fake British accent and I like call up like the powers that be and have them make a bunch of battle tomes for me and shit. I'm sorry, everybody, that I made like all those things happen. Like I conjured into existence our NB Overlord, Anasta. I would like to like do that with Kharadron Overlord, or not Kharadron Overlord. Sorry, Oathbreakers / Chaos Dwarves for other people. I also want Nighthaunt to get a new book. I want Blades of Khorne to get a new book really bad. So getting back to Blades of Khorne, kind of where they're at, you're talking about like models and units and stuff like that. But like, what's the broad strokes like wish list? Speculating. If you want to wish list or speculate, what is that for Blades of Khorne? That we're going to go deep dive into artifacts, but broad strokes.
Yeah.
What do you want?
I think we can both universally say that Blood Ties should roll over and should probably be reworked in some capacity, so it's worth saving up for, because now you can hold on to it. Whereas now it's like you get exploding hits at 8, and the brass meteor is not really that good. Like the higher end stuff's not great. Also, like just
brass
get
meteor
rid of
is
the
such
summoning.
a waste
Fuck
of
the summoning. Get it out of my face. I don't want to see that. I don't care. Let that. I don't.
You don't care about summoning, huh?
5 dogs would be great.
I don't care at all about summoning.
What if so because like chaos seems to have gone the direction of like of resource equals summoning. What if they stick with resource equals summoning for like the other 3? I know this is like fucking crazy out there, but I'm an ideas man. I just got to have ideas, right? So like crazy out there, like people just get to keep their summoning. Depravity, I feel like, steps on the toes of Blood Tithe way too much anyway, especially in its current state, where they're, like, wounding stuff but not killing it, and Khorne's like, well, we kill it, but then our pool empties. It doesn't feel like these two will ever... It feels like the way Depravity now will always step on the toes of Blood Tithe. The fact that, like, theirs, one, doesn't empty, and two, also is based off of hurting stuff, you know? Like, it's just like, yeah, Khorne hurts you more and gets a worse reward. Like, you know what I'm saying here? Like, I like where Depravity... This isn't shitting on Depravity. I like how Depravity is right now, which is why I'm saying keep Depravity as is, because it's kind of perfect. But that means we need to reimagine Blood Tithe.
No, I think so.
Right?
And I don't think that there's really a good way to keep it as it is that would be engaging. Even like the rollover minutes, like if they change that, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But it's still like it's like, you know, yeah, every Khorne player knows you're like, hey, Blood Tithe, and then you move on with your life. Like every time something dies, like, oh, Blood Tithe.
So
it makes your guys dying feel better because you're like, oh, Blood Tithe.
Yes, that's true.
So I still like, again, the nature of Depravity is hurt myself, hurt you. Like, they get their thing too, as long as they don't kill it, which is a bit of a feels bad. But honestly, they're edging it, so like it makes total sense. Come on, like let's. Yeah. Like I don't. I'm like, oh, it's a little bit of. Oh no, it's a little bit of a feels bad to have an extra mechanic on top of all of your other mechanics. Like, you know, it's like I understand it's a bit of a feels bad on the spells that my Locus of Shyish doesn't work on, but like it's not like I hate the mechanic. It just feels bad sometimes, right? Like it's still an extra thing I'm doing that's pretty sweet when it works. So my thought or my proposal for Blood Tithe is to kind of keep it at when you murder stuff, sweet shit happens, and having the scale of the sweet shit happening being pretty metal is the best way I can put it. And then detaching their summoning entirely from Blood Tithe, and like rolling it in, having some rollover minutes in some other capacity, whether it's affixed to like a separate mechanic entirely, like akin to something like with how our zombies and our skeletons get back up, or like having like a ritual mechanic where like they have some sort of mini game where like if you do the mini game then you get a fucking bloodthirster for free, because isn't that all you really want anyway? Is just another bloodthirster? Like, isn't that what they fucking... You don't want anything else in Khorne. You just want to fucking summon a sweet bloodthirster at some point, right?
I'd like more metal effects, and I think like Carnage as a whole is kind of...
That's the mechanic now.
Like,
you've got Blood Tithe, and you have a separate mechanic called Carnage.
Carnage.
Yeah, there you go. All right, your Carnage count is some Doom counter that counts backwards, right? Like it's...
Yeah, if it reaches 0, it's like...
It counts backwards from 8, and there's some mechanic in the game where like to trigger... Like, it's got to be something specific, and then it'll count down from 8, and it's like usually going to go off about turn 4, but you can cheese it to be turn 3 on the jump turn, right? Like something like that. Like, that's the Doom mechanic. So, like, your heroes dying, perhaps, or, like, heroes dying, because that's a more finite resource, right? Like, heroes dying is Carnage. Everything dying is Blood Tithe. You know, whatever it is. It's the specifics don't matter when you're spitballing ideas like this. Go on.
We could certainly dump summoning if it meant more interesting buffs. And, like, if it was something just as simple as, like, oh, I can put, like, Blood Rain on a unit of Skull Crushers for 2 Carnage points, and that heals them D3 wounds. Like, and then I still have my rollover. If it was a lot of utility work like that, that would be super useful for this army, because the things we use Blood Tithe points for are the utility things. Like, heck, if you get to 7,
our combat tricks are in BT.
Yeah, if you get to, what is it, 7 or 8 is Blood Rain. Crimson Rain for 7.
7,
Once you get this, if this happens early for you, you are just clicking your heels in love and life, because this is every turn forever.
If you're on the list that you and I run, which is full of Skull Crushers.
Yeah, where we have no 1 wound models, so we love it, because every hero phase, after that hero phase, you get, including that hero phase, you get D3 wounds healed for Khorne units on the battlefield. So every turn you're healing D3 on
every turn, I really do like that the Blood Tithe plays in both hero phases also.
That's a huge
thing, and I really like having that. So I hope that sticks around.
Yeah, charge is so great in the enemy hero phase.
I just caught up with what CJ Ubusta said in chat here. He's like, Scarbrand shows up, deals 32 mortals, refuses to elaborate, murders Archeon, leaves.
I can't remember if it was CJ or if it was Alebeard. I think it was CJ. Like, he had a Chaos Lord that had 1 wound left on him, and Scarbrand was mad. And he just walked up, and I was like, okay, Scar, don't go crazy.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you're good. And he just dropped double 32 mortal wounds on this 1 wound hero. And it's like, is he even missed?
Negative 31 wounds.
Yeah, it's just like one of those Dragon Ball Z where it just turns into light. He goes, Rah! Like, it just evaporates.
It turns into just mist.
Yeah, and then Scarbrand's good after that turn. He's like, oh, all right, I feel better.
Yeah.
We walk this out a little bit.
So like, summoning itself, like, I wonder if the consensus on Khorne players, or even players in AOS in general, are like, fuck summoning, get summoning out. So, like, I'm going to poison the well a little bit here. As a death player, I feel our mechanic for regeneration and summoning is kind of essential to what death even means to begin with. Okay?
I agree.
Like, being able to, like, it's the most quintessentially undead thing I can think of, to be able to go, like, you know, like, rise from your graves. Like, that's the it's just the most. So, like, I wonder what the consensus is across, like, the broader community in general. Like, my bias is explicit here. I've laid it out there. As a death player, I feel it's quintessential. Like, yeah. I like how we don't summon really extra per se. Like, I know zombies can, but, like, we're really more rejuvenating, and we have, like, where it sits right now, where, like, when you wipe out a unit, we have a chance of bringing it half back again. Like, I like where that sits at, and then Belladama gets to, like, make wolves. Like, I think that SBG is in a healthy...
Right, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's the coolest summoning you can do, is like, oh, I turned your guys into dogs.
Yeah. So
it's not like you're creating it out of nothing.
Yeah. So I like that. So, but again, I'm curious what the, like... how chaos feels, because I feel like, bringing demons on out of nowhere feels very chaosy, especially like Zinchian, especially Zinchian, I guess, and Nurgle. I can see stuff exploding into little pustules, and
like flies coming out.
Yeah.
Like Khorne's supposed to be is like the carnage is such that they're just erupting out of the ground from this blood.
They're coming out of the blood. Yeah.
They want to join in. They don't want to miss a good time.
That makes sense. So,
but I'll tell you, with your character base of death and chaos, if you just like close your eyes and think, okay, Blood Warrior of Khorne, he's killing stuff and becoming more powerful as he kills stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Death player, he's summoning undead minions to do his bidding. Like, both of those are like
different things
that you know exactly what they do, and it feels natural.
Yes.
Like, having Blood Warrior dude summon a thing to do his fighting form sounds
lame,
weird. Yeah.
So
like, why would? And then that also, like, how should I put this? The whole demon mortal dichotomy in the book is just really awkward. So, like, of course mortals would listen to the demons, right? But why would the demons listen to the mortals? And I feel like I'd rather the demons not even be in the book for the most part, and like let you coalition them or something. Like, they want to make it separate, but they're never gonna like cut it off. And I feel like this whole Legion of the First Prince, I feel like that's where summoning should live. Like, put it over there.
That's the chance.
Let the
to cut
demon
it off.
army do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, have the demons in the book. Great. Let them work together. And if you want to like pull them down for summoning, then like do the summoning stuff in the demon specific factions. Because that makes, to me, it makes a whole lot more sense to have like Be'lakor going, okay, the demons gonna do the hell portal and they're gonna help me out. It's gonna be sick. Instead of Khorne guys going, oh, please help me. I cannot beat the guy. I need to use the axe.
So what you're proposing is essentially that Khorne just like huge. Like, they just like get huger and they don't even have summoning to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
Both of you are in consensus
that's what
there?
it's about.
Of 1 and 4 can be demon units, and that's how you can bring in a Bloodthirster or a Scarbrand into your base army.
But I like what Meth's saying. Is like, I want the heroes to get huge.
Yeah.
Like,
you want them to ascend to demonhood, basically.
Like, I don't want to knock off the Castellite thing, but I love the idea of like, okay, you killed their general, dude. Your weapon is now damage 5 because you took his skull and like stuck it into your axe or something metal like that.
Real quick here, side conversation happening in Shacking. Yeah, Ossiarch Bone Reapers don't summon, they do regen. I think that's a healthy place for them. It makes sense that, like, they can, like, get back up and that, like, the Bone Shaper is, like, reconstituting and pulling their souls back into the stuff. They don't so much make new shit on the fly, and that's, like, a perfect niche for them. And then SBG and, like, honestly, all other dead can or should. And I really agree with the, like, Death could probably stand to have a little bit more, like, pure summoning, and Chaos overall could probably stand to have a lot less. Especially since Death, pretty much across the board, is slow, with the exception of, like, a couple of our units. Right?
What's the one army in Death that you look at and go, oh, yeah, you can summon from nothing? And they have no summoning, and that's Nighthaunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh god.
Yeah, yeah. It. Yeah, you see, like, Nighthaunt have only regen as well. They're like in the Ossiarch Bone Reaper camp where they only have regen, but they have worse regen engines
they
than
have,
OBR.
Like, 2 things that can regen.
Yeah, like, they have worse regen engines than OBR, and, like, I'm still... Man, we're going to end up on Nighthaunt. Like, this is Boom Rabbit Hole 2. Take a drink of your milk here, everybody. Like, haunting terrain. For fuck's sake, why don't they haunt shit? They're ghosts. Like,
it's in the name, Nighthaunt.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, back to. So, like, I wonder how other Khorne players feel. Like, do you think, like, we could run a poll of, like, Khorne players? Do you think, like, 50%, 60, 70, 80% of Khorne players would be like, yeah, fuck our summoning, give us huge mechanics and rollover minutes?
95%. We just want our dudes to get huge. We want our heroes to be, like, 10 dams swinging through a crowd of guys. We don't even want battle line. We just want our dudes.
Yeah, can heroes be battle line, please? I'll take heroes.
Heroes are battle line.
Yeah.
Fixed.
That would be one of the greatest unique army rules of all time. I mean, it's kind of working for Sons of Bahamut right now, the fucking Mary Sue of the game. But, like, if that were, like, Khorne, Khorne is the one army. There's a couple armies out there where you get to 8 heroes and you're like, ugh. Khorne is or 6. Six. Sorry. There's a couple armies out there where, like, you get to, like, 6 heroes kinda and you're like, like, I can get to 6 heroes in Death, especially Soulblight Gravelords. But it's redundancy where I'm taking 2 necromancers, I'm taking, like, an extra, like, a vampire lord that I kind of don't need, But, like, if I'm getting to 6, it's like the goal in an army that really wants heroes. I can do it a little bit with Seraphon because, like, having an extra Astrolith bear, like, having some extra little derpy idiots is always good for that army. But Khorne's the one where you're like, I get to 6 without blinking and still want 2 more. I want 8 of them.
Okay.
And their number's
Khorne
8.
Demon Prince, Bloodsecrator. You definitely want
two
priests,
right?
Scarbrand is in there. Priests are not so good anymore.
Right, because
Demon Prince
prayers suck.
So I'm already halfway there, and I didn't even have to think like this. Every single list: Scarbrand Priest or Scarbrand Bloodsecrator, Demon Prince, and then I'm taking a Mighty Lord for my Skullcrusher battle line. Mm-hmm. I'm taking like Whippy Guy, or I'm taking another Thirster to help Scarbrand fight better. Or I'm taking a Slaughter Priest if I really want to do the Blood Boil thing, which I know SJ is a big fan of.
I take a Slaughter Priest and 2 Cockatrices. So they basically do the same thing, and then if I don't need him to Blood Boil, he can at least Bronze Flesh something. So, wouldn't it be great if Skull Crushers were battle line natural, and you didn't have to take the Lord of Khorne on Skull Crusher? That would be nice.
See, I would love. I mean, that's where, like, better sub allegiances comes in handy. And it was mentioned earlier on, like, what about not taking a sub allegiance or not taking a thing? And I'm like, I just think the realm of even pretending not taking a sub allegiance is an option just needs to be jettisoned from our thought processes. I understand you want to be generic, like El Generico. Shout outs to wrestling. Like, I understand you want to be like, just like the generic My Unique Snowflake band. But, like, here's the thing. You can easily reskin any of the sub-factions and call it whatever the fuck you want anyway. It's already your own. It is already your own because you're already going to select your own versions of that stuff. You're already going to paint your army that way anyway. It's not going to be the Petrifex Elite. It's going to be your Petrifex Elite or whatever. Just give, like, this is the way the world is now. You can't balance for infinity options and then also 6 strict options. in a book. You need to, for parity internally and externally, just be sub-allegiances other way. Everybody does that now. And within that, now you've given yourself levers to pull across every single army every single time. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Sorry. Go on.
That was like what we were just saying. I have 18 models in this army, and 6 of them are heroes.
Yeah. And so, like, Khorne as an army that can get 8 heroes arbitrarily is like, that's one of their army rules. Now they don't have summoning anymore. Like, this is just, again, this is speculation, wish listing. I know Games Workshop personally, like all of Games Workshop, completely watches my show, and if they don't, a bunch of like bigger content creators watch my show. So like, then we'll send this all out into the universe and change the world. Like, Khorne gets to be the army that has extra heroes. Khorne gets to be the army that has heroes as battle line, or like that gets to be a little bit.
8 hero slots, heroes battle line. We're good.
Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy, boy. Just make them better.
Because that opens up Bloodletter and Blood Reaver spam again. Because then you have all of those heroes helping out those units. Because Blood Reavers and Bloodletters, they don't exist unless you need that absolute minimum point.
Blood Reavers exist for the min.
Yeah, useless. They're maybe the worst battle line in the game.
They're pretty well. I mean, you got to put them by a totem, otherwise they're trash.
And a little bit of the can I just be all lords on juggernauts? Yes, you should be allowed to be.
That's all I want, man.
Like, I mean, again, wish listing, whatever, like that, and your trade off is you don't get to summon as the Chaos Army or something like that. That feels fair, right? Doesn't that feel fair?
Yeah, summoning's already dead for me.
I don't summon.
You're not with your tithe mechanic. Like, you're just not. Yeah. And the other thing,
it's too valuable, and it's so expensive to summon things anyway. Like, to get dogs is 3 blood tithe, and you want to spend that on moving in the hero phase. So I'm never gonna summon dogs.
Well, and here's where like they can divorce summoning from blood tithe and put it on some hero's war scroll. Like once per game. This
sure.
Flesh Eater Courts, burn a command ability, blah, right? Like you can easily do
Blood
that.
Throne's not doing anything. Throw it on that thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You literally murder people to the throne, like Beast of Chaos style, and like you get to summon stuff. Also, Beast of Chaos have the best summoning mechanic in the game. Get at me at MR_MEPH. You're wrong, but you can get at me if you want on Twitter.
If you want to be wrong, tweet at him.
Yeah, tweet at me. But Beast of Chaos have like the best summoning mechanic in the game. What did I say about Relentless Discipline points? Like, one of the best resources in the game, and everyone got it across the game with their new command abilities. You're welcome. I did that for you. I'm okay with sharing Beast of Chaos superior summoning mechanic with Khorne. Like, it's on their terrain piece too. Like it functions a little bit differently. Like, it's you can make it different but cool. Like, you have a terrain piece. It makes sense to actually do something with the Skull Throne fucking effigy, right? Like, sorry.
I like it.
I do want to ask, Biscuit of Tarth, you can summon dogs and then don't? With the Flesh Hounds? Yeah.
I think the implication is I could have summoned a dog to pet, but instead I chose to kill a guy.
Hey, and Flesh Hounds are good. They got good movement, 2 attacks,
they're great.
Battle line.
They unbind.
Spell.
Yeah.
They're demon keyword.
Chad dog did nothing wrong. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Valkia the Bloody's not a Khorne demon. She's just got wings and horns. Whatever, no big deal.
You just hit a nerve. You know you did it too.
In the book, in the section where they're talking about here, they're like, Demon Queen. She is a demon from the bowels of hell. And it's like, nah.
No demon keyword. Because then it would be OP, Frank. Come on.
Neither does Korgorath.
He's so OP.
So I guess what I'm proposing, or what I'm kind of, I'm like making a gish or a gestalt of the stuff y'all are saying, and like kind of where my head's at, being influenced by you guys and stuff like that, is we've got this like Slaves to Darkness thing, which is supposed to sort of be the mortal all-comers version of chaos, and you've got now Legion of the First Prince, which was honestly a missing piece, I think. Like they could have their own entire book at this point, right?
The
like
whole demon
that's
army
your
is missing.
that's your Demons of Chaos book, right? Demons of Chaos book, right? And so you have these like sort of two types of Chaos Undivided that can lean into whatever they need to for like more Khorne, more bloody blah, fine, cool, whatever. Which means to me now you need to make the sort of quintessential versions of Khorne, Slanesh, Nurgle, and Tzeentch more about being themselves than ever before. You need to lean even harder into what it means to be Khorne. And what Khorne needs to do is be a fucking DBZ boss fight army, where it's just like 6 powering up like insane heroes with like, you know, enough dudes on the board to like capture and like play sort of checkers and, you know, be screening and playing the actual table itself. But really what you want to do with Khorne, when someone picks up Khorne, is they just want to play their awesome, sweet heroes, right? Like that's really what I'm hearing from y'all.
Yeah, turn that Johnny dial to Johnny Timmy. Just right in
Tommy. Give me Tommy.
Give me the Tommy.
The Tommy.
So, I guess kind of rounding it out is like more Timmy, obviously. And then that leaves us with the last sort of like hanging Chad, the hanging problem, which is like how Johnny do you really want to be in the end? Do you like your Venn diagrams of buffs? Do you want some of it? You say fuck that, get rid of it all. Like where do we go with buffing for Khorne? Like do a realistic what you think and maybe a like wish list, right?
I feel like
wholly within 8 across the whole army is Garbo. Please stop.
Yeah, we're all in agreement there. Nobody's gonna.
This is a hell red blood army. Get wholly out of here, okay? We are not holy.
Bound in hell. Yeah.
Get it out of here.
If it's just within 8 inches, by the way, I feel it fixes the fucking army a little bit, don't you?
Within it helps all
if you fixed holy, fixes a bunch.
I really like. I would like the buffs to be a little more interesting because we have a ton of ways of pumping attacks, and that's like, you know, like crazy number of attack buffs. There's no rend buffs. There's no like damage buffs. Just make the buffs more interesting, and I have no issue with them existing. Let the heroes broadcast them, because then, oh shit, yeah, I have a unit of blood warriors that do 2 damage each, and you're like, okay, that's a big deal now, because they punch back, and like if it's, don't get me wrong, I love attack stacking. It's fun, but I've been doing it for 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. It's been a long time.
Also, I think there's just piggybacking off of you, I think that there's a drive in the community to pull away from just rolling more and more dice. I think that, like, as a community, we're kind of, like, over that a little bit.
Meaningful
dice. Buckets of dice
like,
have a place.
It's got its place, but, like the old skeletons rolling 120 dice, Age maybe
that's
needs...
nostalgia right there.
Yeah, like... As somebody who once rolled like 266 dice with 1 unit of skeletons because of some crazy shenanigans and realm buffs and stuff like that were damaged to skeletons, because actually, like, it is fun to roll fireballs all the time. Do not get me wrong. Fistfuls of dice feel awesome. But when you're rolling fistfuls of dice... Oh, yeah, and when you're rolling the whole fistful of dice all at the same time, I mean, you're wasting everybody's time. Don't do it that way. Rolling blocks of 20.
Right.
Like... when you're rolling like the huge clump of dice, it feels awesome. But when you're rolling a huge clump of dice and then you're halving it and halving it again and then halving it again, and it ends up just being 8 damage, maybe we need to do the math in a better way to get to that 8 damage result without 120 fucking dice. That's where Rend comes in, by the way. That's where a better hit comes in. Mathematically, you can make the same damage result. Right.
Yeah, and like you were saying, and Frank and I have both gotten this, Skull Crushers within Bloodsecrator range, within Wrathmonger range, they're 5 attacks apiece. Here we go. Boom. That'll be 3 wounds.
And 2 damage.
Rend. All right. Sweet.
Yeah. Like you buff all this stuff into these units, because the book is designed so that the units are sponges for buffs, and then they can't be good because you have to buff them.
Right.
So
yes,
there's no point.
Which makes it a liability in a shooting meta. By the way, that liability would still be there in a shooting meta when you get your 8 heroes anyway, right? Like the thing you want.
Yeah, right.
But you'd feel a lot better about it because you know when you get that one hero in, you're
right.
like,
you get like the dude, and say he's got like buffed up and he's like move 18, charging 3d6. Like he's coming.
Yeah.
Shoot me all you want. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's like, we're walking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
slowly walk up 5 inches then do no damage.
I'm not saying take the fistfuls of dice entirely out the game. I'm just saying, like, use it more sparingly and identify what armies should maybe not be doing that anymore. And I feel like Khorne is an army that doesn't need to be rolling buckets of dice anymore, but rather, like, meaningful, like a higher weight of dice on the individual dice, right? Like,
make the to hit and to wound like not so great, but make it like Ren 3 damage 4. Like make them like big hits when they do hit.
Right.
I know that's more of like a destruction thing, but
like,
I think that's kind of the idea.
But Khorne is a destruction army in Chaos, right? Like if every Chaos army is sort of a dark reflection or a dark mirror of all the other types of things that can be. Tzeentch is
Khorne loves
sort of
orcs.
deathy, right?
That's in the lore.
Yeah.
Khorne's a big fan of orcs. But like, I'll show you right here with an impromptu survey for Frank. What do you feel better about, rolling 55 Blood Reaver dice or 2 dice with Scarbrand? Yeah,
2 Scarbrand dice.
You can accidentally spike 32 more wounds.
I'm always excited to roll the dice.
It's the best part of the game.
You're like, okay, 2. It's just like, oh man.
This is the opposite of the Haywo take, right? Like he doesn't like single, double dice attacks, like because they always miss, right? You're always gonna roll the ones too.
Yeah, but the good thing here is that if you roll a 6, it's 36 mortal wounds.
Right.
It's not like 2; it's 36.
Yeah,
fair.
That is a large.
And
most
it's a 2-up.
armies only have 80 wounds, right? Like.
Hotspur dropping 1,000 RDP to remind everyone that chat gang ain't none to fuck with. Yeah, so I mean, there's a sweet spot between the amount of dice and the amount of impact from the dice, or the amount of impact from the dice that you roll, and I think Khorne could need some some tinkering with that.
Like, I want this big giant dude here to jump into combat and then do something. Right. Like, I like how tanky an Anvil is, but like. He looks like he's a damage dealer, and he does nothing.
And he does
absolutely nothing. Hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, -1 damage.
The mounts don't. Yeah, the mounts. That's the joke, right? The mounts always do more damage. But
Vanilla Sauce, as the official representative of destruction, says, "I will happily accept the 4 Bloodthirster lists into my allegiance." See?
It's cool.
All right,
it's great.
So, sort of finishing thoughts on like sort of wish listing where Khorne is at, where you hope it goes. Like just sort of SJ, you take it, then Doc, you take it.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Mine is just what we ended on. Make my guys' attacks just do more with less. Since I'm such an elite model army, I just want to do more with less. No more buckets. Give me attacks that actually do things.
That's pretty sure.
I don't want it just to be damage because that's IJ. I don't want it to be this and that. Like, it has to be its own thing, and I think if you build it around that hero mechanic of everyone's inspired by these dope heroes and they want to be as cool as Senpai, like...
Oh, man. Bring back bring back, like, unit champions being able to, like, become heroes. Right? Like, that's... Like the like unit champion
and get promoted.
Yeah, it could get promoted because it's like the one left, and like enough stuff has been murdered around it. It's just like it's juiced up, and now it's a hero.
Here's
it's a unit of 5, one guy left.
Yeah.
Two words for what I want. I want Khorne to be Castelli Dynasty.
Yeah, that's all we want.
I mean, based also makes sense because vampires and blood. Khorne blood, like there's a synergy there, or there's a parallel there.
It'd be easy to think, I want them to be Iron Jaws because I just want them to explode the whole board. No, I want them to be Castelli Dynasty.
I like that.
I really like that idea of having like the unit champion survives, and now he's like a giga beast. He's like,
yeah,
I can feel it coming.
Well, all that blood splattered around the unit champion, right? And
Right.
Oh, like he's just like juiced. Like he's Bane now.
Khorne
Like,
sees him going like, "Yo, that dude's sick. I'm gonna give him a boon."
Mhm.
Dude does like quadruple damage now.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
the good shit. I like that.
Yeah.
Also,
GW hire me. I'm a
incentivizes
great
you-
ideas man. I seriously am.
Incentivizes you to blood sacrifice because then you break it down
Yeah.
to more manageable numbers, and I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm on that. That's some. Quality.
It's unique. It's something that's I think is uniquely Khorne and makes the most sense for that army. Like
Would be so
That's what's
sick.
important to me.
That
Like,
would be
I
so
want him to
funny.
be unique. I don't want him to just be Chaos's IJ. Like, I want him to be Khorne. Khorne plays like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's for the army that is like the most quoted Warhammer quotes are basically from Khorne, right? Blood for the Blood God. Like, it's probably the single most said thing anybody outside of Warhammer or with only a basic understanding of Warhammer will ever say. It's
Yeah,
such
a lot of people know that. It's
make
true.
them iconic in the way that like Iron Jaws are iconic, the way that Stormcast Eternals are iconic. For a while, this army subsisted off of selling you new Stormcast, selling you new Khorne shit. Like, make this army iconic the way it should be. I don't think it's a. This is not a coincidence. We're starting out with Khorne today, for the Great Enhancing everybody. Like, make Khorne like the icon it should be. It's an army that attracts tons of players. It's got that heavy metal appeal. Like, it's got that like mass appeal. Like, make it take it a little bit away from Timmy, or a little bit away from Johnny, and a lot more towards Timmy. Make it a little bit more straightforward to play. That means the ceiling maybe needs to come down a bit because you never have your popular thing be your best thing, right? Because then it throws your meta out of whack. Fine, whatever. But the Khorne players will take the sacrifice of like their ceiling being a little bit lower if they're having a blast doing it the whole time. Iron Jaws
And
players
the Archaon,
did it for
ahead.
years, right?
Mhm.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say the Archaon people just go over there. Don't worry about it. We're over here. We're having fun. You can still do that. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna run him because the only reason he's being run in Khorne is because we have good buffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can give Archeon 3 more attacks. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Blood Tithe and attack stacking. That's really the only reason. So
And it's the third best way to play Archeon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how bad Khorne is. It's not
TJ.
even the best Archeon.
CJ, you busta. Why is Khorne so double cheeked up? Well, I'll tell you. To get strong, you have to do squats. And so, here we are. The most caked up faction in AOS. Fucking Khorne.
Yeah, Scarbrand is thick. Got those legs on him.
Dude.
Just
Have
kind
you
of
seen
Shall
a
we
Khorne
jump
rep?
into some artifacts?
making sure I haven't missed anything here in checking. All right, seems we're all caught up
Yeah.
here. Yeah, so now we're actually to the part we've talked about Khorne in general. Like I want to do this for each of the army. Maybe I'll try to make it a little bit more concise going forward, but I think that was a great discussion about Khorne. And now we're going to talk about the Great Enhancing. So this is going to vary guest to guest, episode to episode. But anytime you rewrite artifacts or you do some designing, you got to have essentially some first principles or some in writing just your base premise. Like you have to have some core conceit you're working from. What is the core conceit for you, SJ? And we kind of discussed this a little bit offline. And then Doc, like when you went into making artifacts, was it just like I wanted to make everything huger? Or was it like, did you have like a theme you were building from, or like a principle of design where you're like, every Khorne artifact must be like this? Like, what was the core conceit? And I'm going to have you both riff off of each other. I'm going to go make sure my kids are actually in bed because I told them to put themselves to bed tonight so I could try to start the show on time. We'll see if that worked
Okay.
out.
We'll handle it.
All right.
So, when I was designing the artifacts that I came up with, I wanted to try and find, I like artifacts that aren't just universally good, but rather can give a list some life. So, I'll think of something that can make these units good, and they work in synergies with what is actually happening in the list specifically. I then also came up with an artifact that was just like, yeah, this shit's amazing. This is super cool. So I was trying to find a balance between having like excellent build around stuff and also stuff that could elevate anybody you put this on is now a problem. And you'd want to put it on different units for different reasons. So, for example, for those of you who know, the Exalted Deathbringer has a shit ton of attacks, and when he's near the general, he gets 2 more attacks. So if you put an artifact on him that increases the quality of his attacks, that's good stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
If you put that same artifact on, say, the Skull Grinder, which is high quality of attacks, so it's short number, but big damn, it's just as effective. So you have an incentive to use both of those things with this artifact in mind. So I'm trying to like give life to things and not exactly fix the book, but maybe like, okay, I'm going to do this. Because there's a build that I used to run with the Skull Grinder where you just turn him into a Beyblade, and he had like 7 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, Ren 3, damage 4 on 6s, it's damage 8. It was like this huge fucking spinning death top. And I wanted that again. And that's really all I wanted. Just a murder machine.
I'm trying to sell drops in models for GW with my stuff. Like, why take a Skull Taker now? You buy it because it looks dope. It's one of the coolest Khorne models ever. But there's no list I'd put him in. Maybe in like 1,000-point games, because he might hit above his weight in those kind of games, but there's no room for him. And like, everyone's trying to get down to that 1 drop. And specifically, the main thing I was talking with Meph about offline was everyone's complaining about the amulet. I don't think the amulet's a problem.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
It's not OP. The problem is there's no choices. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a list...
It's 2 problems. It's 2 problems. One problem is shooting. Like, you need to let your shit live somehow from people being able to reach. And yet, to an extent, like, yes, position better. But then also, if they double turn you or they get to be able to like jump on you, there's so much range in this. Like LRL units, 36 inches on the smaller board. Where are you really going to put something after 2 turns that they can't shoot it when they don't need LOS, right? Like, you're going to want something that means that on their turn you get to survive to do your thing next turn and counterpunch them. Like, so shooting's part of the problem, and like
it's good.
And
it's not broken.
It's good, but it's not broken. Exactly. Like it's. I'm having flashbacks to some of the arguments against some of the arguments for like realm artifacts in general from
Sword of Japan.
Yeah, like a couple years ago, like the shit people were saying back then. And I'm just like no, you're simply wrong, because is it a problem if, and you could just like you interrogate the thought one time with any one of 1,000 different questions, and the answer is no, then amulet's not the problem. Yeah. Amulet's not the problem. It's that like artifacts tend to not be great, and I know where you're going with this, so I don't want to take your words from you, so please continue.
Yeah, so when I see an amulet list, like, oh, I have a 1-drop amulet list, I was like, that means he had no incentive to take any other artifacts, because I love running double Warlord and having 1,000 drops, because I get all my extra toys, because Khorne at least has 2 that are good. But if it's just
at least 2.
The rule book and I use the 1-drop, that means this book basically is only where your war scrolls live and your sub faction. Like, that's not cool. That's not flavorful. No one's having a fun narrative of like, oh, that's the guy with the Gore Cleaver over there. Like, just I want to make it more fun, and more fun is not just taking amulet away and now I have to use one of my shitty base artifacts that don't do anything. Ooh, I am re-rolling 1s to wound. Like, ish. Like, there's so many of those. Like, pick one of the bear's melee weapons, re-roll wounds for attacks made by that weapon. Meh. You're not getting me with stuff like that.
Yeah.
This book has 3 artifacts that give you an additional Ren, and one of them is strictly better than both of them. Both of the other 2. Why?
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah. So one of your core principles going in SJ was to just entice people to not take amulet, is what I understand.
Entice people to not make amulet, and not by making something that's ridiculous. Making something that you're like, ooh, if I took that, and then I could do something like that. Like, I want to get those Johnny Timmy things going in your brain of like, oh, I can use this artifact and make a list like this and set up my it. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how I
like
like
where with a little extra thought, it punches above its weight class a little bit, or a little like when you get the stars to align, it does. You're kind of speaking my language now, and I don't want to like self honk too much, but sincerely, folks, like if you haven't watched the Vince Venturella, of course you've watched the Vince Venturella, and that's got like 2,000 episodes, but like or 2,000 views. The Vince Venturella episode where we kind of did this with like broad general artifacts, you're going to see a lot of my personal ethos on artifact design, because I think when you make artifacts, you got to do something for Johnny, you got to do something for Timmy, and you got to do something for Spike. The thing is Spike's thing's it can't be too efficient, because if Spike's thing is too efficient, then Johnny and Timmy feel a pressure to perform, and they won't take their Johnny and Timmy items.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the way I combat that personally is by having the Johnny and Timmy items do two things. The Spikes thing is very, very efficient, but the Timmy and the Johnny, or the Timmy the Timmy and the Johnny items, they get to do two things. So, like, they do one thing that's consistent but kind of, and then the other thing they do is fucking crazy, or crazy good in the right hands, or whatever. This is why.
I agree with that.
This is why Sword of Japan did nothing wrong. It was a great item because you put it on like a freaking Beast Lord, and now he's killed a freaking Keeper of Secrets because they underestimated you. Like,
the Rune Blade did absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Mark of the Destroyer did nothing wrong.
Yes, and if it's once per game, it can be absurd. If it's once per game, why are you once per game you get +1 attack? Get the fuck out of here. Like go ahead.
Two artifacts I came up with have once per game in them, and they're fucking crazy.
If they're once per game, it should be absurd. Wow. Like Doppelganger's Cloak was a great once per game item. Cloak of Midnight, I think, is a great once per game item. Like, I'm thinking of the IDK item, right? Right, where you once per game, you're like, I vanish immune.
See you later.
And then the way it interacts with their own army, like it says once per game, all ranged attacks can only target me. I'm immune. Like, that's a good once per game. Doppelganger's Cloak, once per game, I say fuck you Activation Wars. Great item. Like, it's fine to, like, if it's once per game, it should be absurd. Once per game, I might outright slay a model. Great item. Once per game, awesome. I can summon some dudes. Great item. Like,
dude, everybody talks about Corgus' Cool's Reality Splitting Axe or the Mighty Lord of Khorne's Axe. It's basically once a game because he's going to swing and then he will die. Mm-hmm. That's what Cool does.
Yeah.
He swings, wounds a guy once, and then dies, and then 5 up, he magically takes him with him. Mm-hmm. So it might as well be a once per battle.
Yeah, it's fine. And if it's once per game, it should be reliable. It shouldn't be a gamble, because if it's a once per game and it's a gamble, that's too, like, if it's a once per game and it's like a 50-50, that's kind of fine if it's like slay a model outright. Once per game
looking right at you, if your model dies on a 6-up, it comes back to life. Stop making those items.
Yeah.
Those items are dumb.
Yeah. On a 16% chance, basically, like, I can...
Just roll 6s.
Once per game. The reason they do that is because in playtesting, they playtest against the... Not playtesting or whatever it is. Like, they really... I'm not the guy who pans playtesters. They work very hard on a very limited schedule, and there's too few of them, and they don't get paid shit, and it's free labor being exploited.
Very unlistened to.
Yeah, like, and they barely get listened to. Like, the fucking panning playtesters thing that, like, made a couple fucking people's careers is bullshit. But, like, it's just the sort of thing where, like they're like, this has to be one in a 6 chance because, like, they played that guy who always runs hot and always rolls 6s. We all know that guy. But you shouldn't base a game with a $5 billion in profits after operational costs company with the player base of hundreds of thousands, if not a million players, on like the one guy you know that runs hot. Like, sorry. So I think since we're at the artifacts part, I'm going to go through each section here. Well, let's talk about. We don't need to go into the in-depth on the artifacts, but I do think people who maybe don't play Khorne need to understand what artifacts Khorne is currently working with, right? that we need
Sure.
to enhancenate them.
Yeah, Frank, you
Let's,
tell me yours.
if I'm picking one, it's the Gore Cleaver. So, you pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. Rend is increased by 1. In addition, if the unmodified wound roll for an attack made with a weapon is a 6, double that damage. Just fun. We like that.
So this is an
Rend
existing
plus 1,
item
double
that you
damage.
like. This is like a good one.
Yes, I love this item.
Okay.
And this used to, before 3.0, the reason I like it so much is because of before 3.0. 3.0 doesn't let you stack 2 abilities on the same proc, so
Right.
6 to wound can't do 2 things anymore. The Mighty Lord of Khorne on Juggernaut used to have a thing where he has a D3 damage axe. If he rolls a 6, it's 3 damage. So if you had this and that, you're swinging for 6. That's big. I like it.
Yeah, and that easy math is the stuff we're looking for. Like, this happens, then this, and now I'm slapping
Whoa, his thing
people
does
off the table.
3? And then if I double it, it's 6?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Timmy powers activate for that. So the one I love
SJArcade. Let's see if I can guess.
is
Is it
way
something you
over
wear
in
on your head?
demonic adornments.
What is it?
It's for this fella, the Demon Prince.
Demon Prince.
This is the only artifact you put on this guy. Crimson Crown. Once per battle round, the bearer can use a command ability for free. So this is Blood Slick Ground for free every turn.
It's just good.
You have to take it.
Free, and it's any command ability, or it's
Any
only
command
the command
ability. You can
ability on
use
their
it
war
for
scroll.
anything else.
No. It's on the war. It has to be on the war scroll, which is why
on their
it's
war
sort of
scroll
limited.
without a command ability or without a command point being spent. Yes.
Spending a command point. So yeah, it's great for blood slick ground, and pretty much it's good for blood slick ground. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They knew what they're doing. You could probably use it for free on whatever Bloodthirster. I think it's Insensate Rage that allows other demon units to pile in and attack.
No, that's Unfettered Fury.
Unfettered Fury.
He's the one with the whip.
Yeah. So that would be a good one too. There's a couple options for it, but free Bloodslick every turn, obviously.
That is the end of all of the artifacts that I think are good.
So those are the good
Yeah.
artifacts. That's it.
And Frank,
Yeah.
now begin your TED Talk on what they did to Mark of the Destroyer. So read Mark of the Destroyer old, if you have it.
Mark of the Destroyer new is pick one of the bearer's melee weapons, add 2 of the attack's characteristics. 4. Mark of the Destroyer old. I'm going to see if I can do this from memory because I don't have it in front of me. Pick a guy.
Yeah.
You pick a guy, right? You double the amount of attacks they have.
Mm-hmm.
If he rolls a 1 to hit, or no, it's if he does not slay a model,
Yes.
he turns into a chaos spawn because he sucks. So you double the guy's attacks, but if you don't kill a guy, and you have a chaos spawn.
Amazing.
Coolest shit in the world.
Amazing.
It's the cool because you put it on a guy with 1,000,000 attacks anyway. So who gives a shit? You're gonna kill something.
Yeah, here, Meph, here's your easy math for you again. You have your Zach Wild Exalted Spear Deathbringer. He's not the general, so he has 7 attacks base. Now he's got 14 attacks and 6s to wounds, or doing more wounds, right, on impalement. So, like, he's
right?
killing a model. And he's going to do more than that.
Awesome.
And if not,
This is what I want.
him.
Yeah. This is what I want our heroes to do, right?
Well,
This is what I've kind of designed some of my artifacts around doing.
So, like, 3.0 resoundingly feels like a major success. Like, it's a great game. Like, my fear the whole time going into 3.0, and it's, I think the way I put it is, I'm not there yet, but, like, this is in the danger zone of there. And if they do another edition and they do more of this, then we're there. But they have an opportunity to redeem themselves. And what I was talking about is, like, the homogeneity and the making shit boring. And, like, a lot of boring shit has happened in 3.0 where, like, and this is, like, it's a false dichotomy because it doesn't need to be boring and homogenous to be more competitive. Like, I hate that. Like, or more balanced, sorry. There's all kinds of wacky shit in Magic the Gathering that people kind of hold up as a beacon of competitive balance and great rules writing in our community anyway. There's tons of wacky shit. Icarid and Bridge from Below all that shit's fucking wacky and weird, and it fucks with the rules of the game. Like, Dredge is a weird mechanic. Like, you can be weird and wacky and wild and out there and still find a way to balance. And, like, I feel like Age of Sigmar, it's the Facebook complaining about Evocators and Gavriel kind of all over again. Is people wanted our game to have better rules and be more balanced, and Games Workshop, like, heard that, but they went the boring way of getting there instead of the, like, interesting way of getting there. And they went through and they stripped out a lot of the interesting stuff. This started happening before with, like, fucking Wrathmongers. You know, like...
Yeah, that's the other big hit.
Yeah, what they did to Wrathmongers.
I think that the game as it is right now, because we have such a, like, these are the rules and this is how interactions happen, that we can start fucking around again.
Well, then they exactly did like Cruel Boys. Like, first thing they did is, like, this guy gets to spend all the command. I'm like, duh, yeah, obviously. So, go on, yeah, keep going.
So it's like, we've got the foundation to say, like, okay, this is how stuff should be. Now I'm going to let you break the rules because you want to be cool. And that's it. That's all we need is just fun rules again. We're back in business.
Yeah, Hand of Dust is like one I always go to because it's got the, like, Bluffers game in it too. Like, it's fun. It's less than a 50-50 chance when you do the math, assuming that a guessing my hand is a 50-50, right? You got two options. Right. So you got a 50-50, and then you've got an 8-up to cast. Even on a dude with a +3 to cast, he's probably not going to be at a +3 to cast if he's in melee, by the way, because he's charted once or twice. Like, and if you added in the spell portal shenanigans, you're just mathing it out, and we ended up with the math. And
you're making it harder, right?
Yeah, we ended up with something where it's like a 36% chance to actually hand dust somebody, even pre-charting if you do the three things. Like, you know, like it's like, but like when it gets down to it, it's a big effect, and it's interactive with my opponent. Because, like, I'm hiding the die. It's doing something unique to the game. If everyone had a hide a die, do some shenanigans, it wouldn't feel fun anymore. That's why you got to make cool. You got to make it unique, which is what I'm talking about with Khorne, with, like, leveling up their hero in the unit. If that's only Khorne's thing, you know, like, cool. If we did that in every unit across the entire game of Age of Sigmar, bleh, right? Yeah, spit on it.
Which is why some of the field beds are happening right now, because, like, a lot of, like, OBR and Ogre stuff got repurposed into, like, the core rules.
Yeah.
So, like, now everybody has RDP, so it's like, okay, well, it's not that cool anymore because now it's a core mechanic, right? So you got to do something to compensate for that.
Right.
Yeah, everything that's slightly big has Ogre charge now.
Right. Or the capturing multiple for being a fat boy.
Yeah, capturing multiple is a huge hit against Khorne, or against Ogres, and, I mean, kind of SOB, but SOB don't care.
Yeah. Also, Meph, when you do the Hand of Dust, my favorite thing is you go, okay, it's in my right hand. Which hand do you pick?
Oh.
And they go, oh gosh, I don't know.
Oh no, I tell people at the beginning of the game. So my drink milk, chat gang, rabbit hole. So my favorite thing is to, like, when I walk up to the table, I'm like, what's your favorite model? No reason. And, like, people will always begin to describe it to me before they realize why I've asked them. Every single time.
They see Nagash and they go, oh.
And then they, like, I watch it click in their head that I'm asking them which model I'm about to hand to dust. Like, every single time.
Because, like, that's the shit we need.
Like, I walk up to the table and, like, oh, like, and you know, like, when I was grinding tournaments, no one really knew who I was, whatever. It wasn't until, like, the last two tournaments I went to that, like, RantCast was a thing and whatever. And so, like, I like, you know, I'd be like, oh, you know, like, hey, you know, they meet me, like, oh, yeah, I'm Mephisto or I'm Andrew, and, you know, shake their hand and stuff like that. And, like, you know, we're getting set up, we're talking about that. And I'm like, oh, man, oh, your army looks great. Like, what's your favorite model? And you can lie to me. And I would say it exactly like that every time. And you can lie to me. And you can lie to me is where, like, they've got the clue that I'm fucking with them, right? And they'll begin to, like, describe the model they painted the best. You know, I'm like, oh, just like I don't know, I just like, and I'm
just going off about Star
and they'll like, and they'll start, and they'll start going into it a little bit, and then they'll do that moment will happen where they do a double take, and then they're just like, and it's so great, But look at what that one rule does for our social interaction that makes the game even better, right? Like, look at that one simple rule of Hand of Dust of, like, I'm about to, like, kill your thing outright with this little, like, blah, blah, blah. And Tattoo Man, I called us off as he's supposed to be calling me back. I'm going to say that the arm that Nagash is tattooed on my arm is the Hand of Dust. I'm like, this is the Hand of Dust. And the Nagash will be right here, and I'm going to say it
right here.
And I'm going to watch people not believe me in real time every time.
The best. The mind games.
Now, do you do the reveal or do you do the drop?
Oh no, you got to do the reveal, because then when you reveal it, you do this, like, you do a whole magician trick where you're like, and you reveal it and you just go, and then you, like, take their model, or, like, you reveal it and you just, like, the like, sort of showing the hand, like, the way you, like, show the hand, and, like, and then that thing happens where they're like, is that the bad one? Because they heard you say it, and they played against Hand of Dust, like, 4 or 5 or 6 or 100 times, and they're like, is that the bad one? And I'm like, no, that was the bad one.
That's the bad one.
And then it's just like, but it'll be this one, by the way. This is the Hand of Dust, by the way. This is the one. This is where I'm hiding the die. Every time. I'm telling you right now. We'll see how many of you believe me.
Clip that.
But yeah, you gotta. It's just, and those wacky mechanics. Like, I actually like Archeon's. I liked Archeon's first rule for his future sight.
Oh yeah.
Like,
it was super cool.
It still had a bluffing mechanic, and now it doesn't. Now it's just like it's
because some idiot somewhere is like,
like, what if my opponent cheats? And I'm like, yeah, what if your opponent cheats on every rule? Right?
He's gonna cheat on that. He's gonna cheat on everything else.
Yeah, he's gonna cheat. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're right.
Anything
yeah,
that
what
can
if they
distract
cheat on
me.
every rule ever? What if they use their Pepsi can to move terrain and fucking, like, they know sleight of hand, or they bring loaded dice? You're right. What if they cheat on everything? This is a rant within the rant. Take 2 drinks of milk. Like, you can't keep fucking things up on purpose because a couple bad actors don't know how to, like, play by the rules or have fun anymore. You can't keep ruining society because a couple people might take advantage of the system. You can't keep ruining your game because a couple people might take advantage of the system. Fuck them. We have a community. You know what happens when people keep exploiting the system in our tournaments? Nobody wants to play with them anymore, and everybody knows who the fuck they are at tournaments, and they get harangued. Because we all
want to protect us from the cheaters.
Like, your rules don't need to protect us from the cheaters. They don't need to be gun shy. We'll do that as a community. That's what our job is. Like
with that CJ game,
I legitimately want a rule that says you can cheat. Like, if you can get away with it, fine. Like, give it to some Zinch unit or some Cruel Boy.
Skaven. Skaven. It would be perfect for Skaven.
Yeah, Skaven.
Yeah, like, if you can cheat 100%. A unit onto the table, right?
Yeah,
like, if you can...
You got it, bro.
Yeah, if you can cheat a unit
and
onto
everybody's just gonna, like, watch the board all the time now. So
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, but, like, that's... Yeah, I want legal cheating for Skaven as a mechanic. Just have a thing that says in their allegiance abilities, like, during the deployment phase, if you can, like, deploy an extra unit without your opponent
deploy an extra model in a unit.
Yeah, extra model, something like that. Like,
guys.
Yeah,
dude,
like,
nobody's
legal
going
cheating.
to get a drink after deployment anymore now. Everyone's just going to be like, okay, one dropped.
Like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Skaven Battletome 2022. But that's the thing.
It's like counting each model as it goes.
Oh yeah, like, but that's the thing is, like, think about how that will, like, play out, and then, like, the shit that's gonna happen, like, as the game plays out, and, like, the type of people who will play Skaven, especially if Skaven are, like, a decidedly Timmy army and they're not, like, a big Spike army, right? The type of shit that's about to happen on that game in the game state is gonna be so much, like, it's gonna be silly and weird, and, like, everyone's on board with the cheat, so it becomes part of
shenanigans.
And, like, and if it's an army like Gitz or Skaven or maybe Zinch, but Zinch's feels bad or, like, 2 out of bounds already, so, like, no. But if it's like Gitz and Skaven,
they're already cheating.
You're already, like, yeah, like, fixing dice is already, like, cheating. So, like, if it becomes part of their mechanics, you're just like, yeah, of course, dog.
Like
why not?
that like Hand of Dust and those interactions. I remember putting 36 mortal wounds on that one wound Chaos Lord more than I remember. It's like, oh yeah, it was a close game and I squeaked it out. Like, no, I remember misting that one wound, poor guy, and that's the thing we'll be able to talk about. So let's go. Remember when I overkilled the shit out of that Chaos Lord? That more of that, please.
Hey CJ, remember when you ran Archaon mid up the table and I just splatted him? Never gonna forget that. Never gonna forget that.
CJ jobbing for Scarvery.
Hey, he's a great guy.
Faces on basis. We've interacted on Twitter. First time showing up in chat, so right on.
Yeah, the Snotling team.
Yeah, I like the old Snotling Blood Bowl team could have 14 on the pitch because the ref can't tell how many there are. Well, Blood Bowl's a great place to pioneer some of these rules, by the way, like legal cheating rules.
Oh yeah.
Like having like briberies for the ref and like you get to break mechanics every now and then, like because you actually the way you spend your money on your team, and you spend it in between games and stuff like that in a league system. Perfect place for that. Like
that's where Gitz needs so much juice.
What if Skaven pay points for the legal cheat, right? Like if you can sneak a unit onto the table, but it costs you like 200 points to do this, like and then like you're gonna have a TO who checks the list and know that like this Skaven flavor has a legal cheat and stuff like that. Like you can put this stuff in a confines of a game system that totally works for the game system, like.
Because we have our rule set is now so defined.
Yes,
where it's previously was.
Now that we have the good rule set,
it's because we have the rules that we can break them. That's the big.
It's bringing it back to a fulcrum, which is the thing that 3.0 I think did the best. Is like we now have a fulcrum, which we didn't have before, and that's the most important part of like you have to like solve for 0 first before you can add 1, subtract 1. Like we weren't at 0 before in the game state. Like that's what's cool about this. That's why I think 3.0 is a success, and that's why I said the thing that got us all on this whole big tirade before is this is the make or break point for AOS as a game. 3.0 is how much more interesting rules can we get into the game as people get their 3.0 battle tome.
Just crossing my fingers for Nurgle.
We've been starved for books because we don't know. We're like, oh god, is it going to be like Stormcast and Cruel Boys?
Cruel Boys already broke the rules. Like that was like the first thing they did. They said like break this rule. So, and I said as much when I did my 3.0 review. Is I said the only reason you write a rule like this is so that you can break it later. Like
yeah.
So
big time.
Yeah.
If everyone just got a book that was on par design wise as Soulblight, everyone would be happy.
Yeah.
Not talking power, just design. 4 or 5 different ways you can play that army. Very limited model set, and you can get a lot out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Soulblight is so great.
Yeah.
So we were talking artifacts.
Yeah, you were talking artifacts. So I want you guys to go through a like the sort of like the worst of the worst. Why is this included? The general vibe of current Khorne artifacts. Like you said the three.
What's up, man?
You said the 3 good ones. Faces and bases. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much, my friend. Enjoy the emotes. Be sure to spam them on all the other Warhammer creators' Twitches. Go and invade their shit. Let them see Nagash especially. Let them know what's up. Hand of dust.
All right. So we got the aspect of death. If an enemy,
you don't need to go every one of them, but give us a good taste of truly bad.
This is really bad.
Okay.
If an enemy unit fails a battle shock test with an 8 of this general, this is general. Sorry.
General.
Oopsie. I was looking at warlord traits. I can't think of what's some,
there's one. I've definitely got one here.
There's a stinker. I know there's a stinker.
Here's one. Skull Helm of Khorne, subtract 2 on bravery within 8 inches. Boo,
that's the one I was thinking of.
Boo, snore, who cares?
Boo.
Improve rend on a weapon by 1.
We have 3 of those.
Oh yeah. Do that. Which 3 are those, and why is one of them better?
Okay, so we got the Gore Cleaver. We got the Blade of Endless Bloodshed, and then the Death Dealer. Yeah. That was...
So which one's the better one?
The Gore Cleaver, because it does something besides -1 rend.
Oh yeah, it's -1 rend and the double
'Cause
damage on attacks, and the other
double
ones are
damage,
just
yeah.
purely one.
It's just -1 rend. There's another stinker,
And here's the
man.
sad part:
I
is
know
like,
it.
okay, if you're looking at the book and you go, well, Gore Cleaver is Khorne mortals only, and the other Death Dealer is demon heroes only. The other one that's just +1 rend is just another mortal. It's like instead of taking the +1 rend and the double,
It's like,
just
why
take the
does
+1
this exist? I get it.
I like on my Juggerlord the crimson plate for rerolling ones to save.
Oh, the reroll one to save?
I'll defense him to a 2-up and you're rerolling fails basically. That's great.
And he has the 5-up shrug also.
And he's got the 5-up spell shrug.
Oh right, it's spells only.
Yes, because this book is old.
I gotcha. Yeah.
There is a 5-up
I mean,
Feel No Pain in the book.
That's the
Bloodforged Armor.
armor. Yeah, I use that one sometimes.
So that's technically our little destiny.
There's also like, yeah, there's just a ton of. I mean, yeah, it is amulet, right? It's just amulet.
2+ spell save, and you can attempt to unbind. Meh.
Yeah, a lot of these are just
hit heroes on 2+. Okay, yeah. Oh, your favorite Harvester of Skulls? Add 1 to attack.
Yeah, it's just one.
Just one.
One extra.
Reroll 1 failed or 1 failed wound roll.
So
that one's okay. I didn't mind that one too bad.
No, it's terrible.
That on the axe thirster because you want to reroll his hits to get the AOE's. So it's not the worst to get a free one.
Yeah,
the worst one though is -2 bravery.
Yeah, -2 bravery is always snore. I mean, bravery means slightly more in this edition, just like that much more. But no.
Right. So I feel like
all the banners are trash.
I feel like there's too many magic items in this book to begin with. Like,
there's a shitload of magic.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And they're like
there's
so
demon weapons, demon stuff, mortal weapons, mortal stuff. There's also specifically not Khorne mortal stuff.
Yeah, Bloodbound.
Why?
Great question.
Yeah, because what mortal hero is not Bloodbound in this book?
No, none of them. It's just if you have a Slaves to Darkness guy.
And you're not going to take a Slaves to Darkness guy. Especially now.
I mean...
You might, but even if you do, this is the wrong place to throttle it.
Karkadrak Lord was in my list.
Karkadrak Lord, yes.
This is the wrong place to throttle that, though. It's the wrong place to throttle the artifacts on the artifacts themselves, and like, why are you doing that? Like, don't worry about future-proofing your book. Just let your book play well with itself, because you can always, when you write the future shit and you're worried about stuff coming into somebody else's book, you worry about it with the next thing. Just on the next thing, right, it can't take that artifact or whatever as a... You can literally just write that as a rule on the scroll of the new thing. You'd be like, this can't take these types of artifacts, or whatever you need to do, the abuse you're worried about in the future. Let the book play well with itself to fucking begin with. You know what I'm saying?
Right, to change it later.
Yeah, change it later. Fix it in post. You don't need to fuck with that. But I will give you a little bit of a designer insight. So usually with a book thing, you have like a layout that's sort of like what they have intended for the pipeline and so on and so forth, and you have X amount of characters and this much space to fill up. You literally have an amount of space to fill up on a book. Doggos, corgi spotted, yeah. You have an amount of space to fill up and so on and so forth. So this layout needs this much stuff. So there really is like a literal amount of dead space that they have to fill in books in design, and it's not entirely on the writer's fault. But that being said, fuck that. We're gonna have so many awesome ideas that they'll have enough to fill a page that has a.
We should have to cut them down, not come up from nothing.
So we have 27 artifacts in this book, and there are
27.
4.
Well, not counting the allegiance, the subfaction.
Not counting the 4 subfaction ones. Yes, correct.
For a total of 31.
Yeah, 31, and there's probably a solid 5. Like,
Yeah,
no reason to fill this book
probably 5.
up with just trash.
And like totem specific, bloodbound specific.
Yeah.
It's bloodbound hero with totem. There's only one model that has that.
Why is that so specific? Yeah.
It's like an OBR, you know, Meph. There's like Mortis and Soul Reaper items only because there's 4 heroes in that book that can take artifacts, so it makes sense. Here, there's like 100 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have so many heroes.
Yeah. Well, like in that book, they're being specific. They're like the Soul Reaper can have one of these 3 items. One of them's good, and
Right.
like the other 2 are bad. But like, it makes sense to do that because there's only you're just saying what flavor of Soul Reaper do you want, and like
Right.
do I want vanilla, strawberry, or chocolate, right? Like that makes perfect sense. This makes no fucking sense. Like
Do you want fucking mint chocolate chip on your pizza? No, no, you do not.
So with that in mind, you guys have a bunch of artifacts that you've designed. How many each do you have? Out of curiosity, is it 8 each?
I have 4.
You have 4.
I have 4 and a mail-in that I think maybe we both have the same one on.
Nothing wrong with Neapolitan. This was not a diss on Neapolitan. This was an illustration of a point. Yeah.
I got 1 per section.
Okay.
So I have 6.
Okay. 1 per section. So you have like a banner and shit. Like you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, crazy. That annihilates the question I was about to ask, which was like, do you think that getting rid of the banner, Bloodbound, et cetera, is like a good?
Just don't do Bloodbound Hero and Mortal. Make 6 good ones, not 10 awful ones with 2 okay. Like, just make 6.
Yeah, and
good.
I
For
like
Mortal.
that the demon stuff is separate because it's like
that's
all
right.
right,
Demon banners. That's it.
Mortal
even the
Demon banner.
Like make it the totem keyword because now we have 2 things that have the totem keyword.
Totem keyword, yes.
Okay, so totem, demon,
Demon, mortal. Yeah. Daemon.
Daemon.
I will.
Armor.
It's caramel. I use demon and daemon interchangeably to inflict the most possible psychic damage I can.
Yeah.
I will
White-bordered,
pronounce
4th edition
caramel
mountain.
differently every time. Like it's just it's something you got to deal with.
Armour of Scorn right here.
Yeah.
This Armour.
So you've got 6 items,
so-
which means you need to go first. I think. Right? You've got
Yay.
4. You got 6. Or sorry, Doc, you're about to say something.
I have 4. Yeah, I have 4, and then I have 1 that was like co-written, which I think SJ and I have the same one. If I think.
Yeah, we'll see.
Can we end on? Pseudo
Yeah.
end on that one because he's got a bonus artifact. So if we go SJ, then will just
that's
alternate.
perfect. Yeah.
So I'll go first.
And if we might very well have the same one also, like that we came up with on our own, which I'm hoping.
Independent invention. It just means it's that good. If you both came up with it, it's got a star next to it, an asterisk. That means it's that
waiting
good.
must happen. That means the stars align because we did not check with each other.
We didn't
at all.
talk.
I
We haven't
hope
said
you
anything
didn't.
that-
I hope you didn't. Yeah.
I've been waiting for this for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I sent it through Haywo to kind of make sure it read correctly, so it didn't just sound
The
like a joke,
verbiage.
but that's it.
Yeah.
So my first one is a demon weapon.
Okay.
In the demon weapon section, it's called Squat Rack, the Burning Axe.
Squat rack. Okay.
And the flavor text, Squat Rack was an aspirational skull taker. His gains were immeasurable. Once captured inside this axe, his soul screams for more and more destruction, turning the bearer into a zealot of his greatness.
I love that you wrote flavor text. That's amazing.
I
Yeah.
do my
Extra
homework.
credit.
Yeah, like look,
all right, what
the
does it
Great
do?
Enhancing ain't fucking around.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So here's what this thing does. This is choose a melee weapon on the bearer. On each wound roll of a 6, do mortal wounds in the amount of the battle round number in addition to damage.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
Because
take,
he's alive
you take
on
this on a
turn
skull
5.
taker that's not unique anymore. And he
Right.
is like, here's your Johnny
He's
setup.
damn
for this.
3, and then you mortal 3 on 6s.
'Cause-
What does that? Wouldn't that wouldn't that nombo with him though?
No. Hold on a second. Because here's your wombo combo. Heads must roll. No, it's decapitating strike. 6s to hit is inflict 3 mortal wounds, and then 6s to in addition to normal damage, and then you do 6s to wound, and then it's additional plus the battle round plus the damage you're doing, and you accidentally like 15 dam off of the guy for 100 points for 130 points. And
I like that it's a battle round too, because it gives it some like
it builds. And
well, the tension.
It's immersive, yeah.
This is from a narrative, not narrative as a gameplay type, from a narrator writer guy. It means the tension builds, right? Like that sort of natural tension.
Like, I gotta kill that guy now.
Because the scramble always happens in AOS. There's that last, like, especially in the close games, there's always that like that turn 4 or turn 5 scramble where you're like, okay, I've got this locked up, and then some shit hits the fan, and you're relying on mage bonks and stuff. Like, everyone's got the scramble, right? Like, and then like now you're looking at that dude where you're like, oh, Catacross is like just been shrugging off fools all game, and now you like see this dude and you're just like, and you start to sweat. Yeah, you're like, and you're like, oh, like if he, yeah, like and like now I'm like, okay, so I want my 3 remaining murder ponies to like run over there and like steal an objective, but like I've had Special K holding out this one for a little bit here, and you're like looking at like the dude, and there's just this like triangle of like, well, do I scream with the 3 murder ponies now to like to make sure I maintain this, or do I run them off, try to like double scoop and get greedy and hope that like Special K can survive? You know, like that. Like, I love shit like that. That tension, that scramble.
This is your chance to do the nani in the middle of a game.
Nani intensifies? Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Well, and I mean, this is why I do like... I know IDK was the Sons of Behemoth of last edition, but, like I do like the telegraph, like, it's about to go off, you know, like if it wasn't...
That's what made that army so cool and unique.
Yeah, like I like the sort of like there's a tension there. Like you know they're about to do that, right? Like you know it's telegraphed. You either deal with it or you don't. And so I like that natural tension, that narrative sort of like, what are they trying to do? What's stopping me? Like, and I like that. And items that do that feel... I mean, Hand of Dust kind of does that too, right? Like,
yeah.
Right? Like,
don't get too close to Nagash. Oh, maybe I can go up and smack Nagash out, or he could Hand of Dust me.
Yeah.
So that's my first one. Squad
I like that.
The Burning Axe.
Yeah, W. Soren, dropping the tier 3 sub off for 27 years. Good evening to Texas. Thank you so much for stopping in. This is going to be a great VOD. I hope you check it out, my friend. And good night. All right.
Okay. It's my turn. Am I going to go?
Yeah, what you got?
All right. I'm going to choose... Like, I'm going to try and stagger it so we're not doubling up. I have a totem keyword only artifact called the Banner of Blazing Blood. All units within 18 inches gain these following abilities. If a unit can fight when it is slain, it does so at rend -2. If a unit would do mortal wounds when it is slain, double that amount of mortal wounds. In addition, 5-up mortal wound save. And there we go.
Love it. No, you're doing one of the things I love, which is you're doing 2 things: one static thing, and one sort of like if-then like Buffy thing.
Right.
I love that.
So my ideology with this was off like an MTG Lord. So it's like, oh, okay, I have these guys that do this thing. I'd like them to do this thing more. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, you know, what would be great for this? Because there's an ability that gives units Death Frenzy when they fight in Khorne. There's a couple of them. But Blood Warriors do this natively, and Blood Warriors do shit fucking damage. But if they fought with rend -2, hey, they're kind of good. So you slap this guy in there. It's a Blood Secretor, so he's giving +1 attack. He's giving his minus shit. He's making those guys fight at -2, so he's giving them an additional attack at rend 2 when they die. And then if, say, you're using like Skull Reapers or Wrathmongers, they do mortal wounds and they die. So, beautiful. They're doing now 2d3 mortal wounds when they die. That's amazing. Super good. The 5-up ward, I was kind of like, it needs to do something active, because if it's only when stuff dies, that's kind of a bad artifact, because then you're like running guys into die, which is kind of what Khorne does right now. But I feel like it needed something. I wanted to make like a base of operations that can move around instead of just like making one dude awesome. This is like the only artifact that I have that buffs stuff.
It's super specialized, so like we don't get rid of Amulet, which goes back to one of your first principles, SJ. Like, so it only is in Khorne, but it's super specific for like the type of unit that can wear it. So I feel like it's better, right? Like you're allowed to give your army good stuff. The whole point is like Amulet is good. Don't get rid of Amulet. Amulet's not the problem right now. It's that other artifacts
things as good.
Right.
Amulet's
and so here's the thing: is like in that army, you can still take Amulet because you might need Amulet on your like Bloodthirster or what the fuck ever.
Right. Exactly.
You'll need it on your Bloodthirster.
Like,
spoiler alert.
Sure. Yeah.
This is like almost a must. Like I would take a Warlord just for this thing because I'm going to build a list that's got all this shit in it.
Yes.
So I'm maximizing it.
It makes you take Blood Warriors or Reavers, which you just wouldn't. Because they're bad.
But you should. They should be core. Oh my god! I'm so bad for core players.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, why aren't you like you're thick like mortals the backbone of the army?
Why are they not shit mixers? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Chaos Warriors.
That's my first. SJ, what do you got?
Yeah.
What's number 2?
What do I got next? And Meph, you don't have any for us this week? You're
What's
just the host today? You're hosting us today?
No, I'm guiding it. I'm getting a sense of it to build off of. I'll have some stuff for SPG because I play the army, but I don't.
No.
So I try to defer to the wisdom of the people like I care about or I respect for the thing. Like I don't. Like I've got some great opinions about like artifact design and stuff, but you don't need me to.
Meph, you're going to show up like WCW Jericho with the I've got 1,001 artifacts for S-Plane. First artifact, armbar. No. Second artifact. So maybe. I have a
What's your number 2?
A demonic adornment.
Okay.
This is called Incandescent Soul. This demon is born of the purest rage in the mortal realms. This can lead to massive instability when provoked into mortal combat. So, at the beginning of the combat phase, if the bearer is within the last 2 rows of its damage table, you may choose to double attacks and add 1 to wounds. In addition, on a 4+, do D3 mortal wounds to all units within 8 inches. If the player chooses to do this, the model is then removed from play and once they have fun. So your Bloodthirster.
So
all right, I was about to hate this item until that last sentence, because you just made a word soup, and I hate word soups for items.
Yes, it's a lot happening.
That was so much happening, but then I forgave you because you're like, oh yeah, the dude explodes, so you can just do a bunch of insane shit. And I'm like,
yeah,
based.
Basically,
it's like overclocking the fucking soul. That's cool. I like that.
No, I go back to it. So you said you've got some sort of envisionment for this. Like you have a vision for this. Like how do you envision this being used?
Yeah, this is you put this on your 2-handed axe Bloodthirster as he's already going in doing his disco ball of mortal wounds aura ability.
He's going in to die.
Yeah, and then he gets to that bottom level, and it's just like, you know what? I'm not actually my ROI on attacking again is only good if I double the amount of swings, do a mortal wound implosion on everything within 3 inches, and then peace out. Yeah. Because you imagine doing that and giving him all-out attack on that turn. This is your finest hour, and just charge him in and then explode.
So I also had an artifact very similar to this.
I feel like your next artifact is clear.
So we have Axe of Obliteration.
So Obliteration! Yeah.
Right on. I had this as a non-behemoth leader, so basically like sub-commander only, because I don't want people to try and like cheese it, but it doesn't really matter. Rend increases by 1. When this model slays a model, roll a d6. For each 3+, gain +1 attack permanently.
Nice.
Once per game. At the start of the combat phase, you can suffer X mortal wounds. For each wound suffered, gain double that number for the rest of the battle round. So you're snowballing, and then you're like, all right, fucking 5 wounds, let's go. 10 extra attacks, plus whatever you built up over the game. Do you make this, like, terrifying tornado of blood that's just... He's slowly growing. You know, you throw him into a pit of gits. He gets, like, 20 extra attacks. He keeps going, he keeps going, he keeps going. The reason I put the non-behemoth thing is because if you have more wounds, obviously you just go, okay, well, I'll just take 15 mortal wounds and do 30 attacks. That's too much.
You can,
but
you can cap it at 6 too. By the way, you can do it no more if you want to let
that's the better way
do
to
it.
do
Like you can instead of basing it on
to 6.
Yeah, just up to 6 mortal. You can do up to 6 mortal wounds in this way. Yeah.
Just he keeps getting bigger and getting bigger and getting bigger and getting bigger. So
that's another great skull taker.
That's my.
Well, so I like this for 2 reasons. One, I like level up mechanics, and I like gambling. Well, I guess that's 1.5 points. Like
you get the
yeah. So there's like a gamble there. Where like how much damage do I want to do? Like I like
this
that.
guy really has to die. I'm going all in.
I like the murdering yourself. Like the Grimhaler, Reikener has that with Snuff and Gandalf. I think that's great.
This is Tommy and Predator just going like
yeah. But it also reminds me of Whirlwind Barbarians from Diablo 2. We're just like, oh, like that's so.
That was my like visual, right?
Yeah.
He's just spinning.
Yeah, and the Curse of Iron Maiden hits you, and you're like, as soon as this spin animation stops, like, and
he just explodes.
Yeah, your body keeps spinning, and your gold fell back there. Like, it's so great. Like, yeah, no, I love that shit. That's great. You're right. Khorne, you just reminded me. Khorne should be a Diablo 2 barbarian who has been Curse of Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Hey,
just
Luke
let him
Skywalker.
Go.
Yeah.
This fucking Tasmanian devil his ass all the way through. Let it rip.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Rip and tear until it is
Love
done.
Yeah. That's another great one. And see, what no one else gets to do is me and Frank get to play Khorne versus Khorne, and we're gonna take all these artifacts.
We can, we're gonna do this
in our little Khorne clubhouse. No.
So I got a request for y'all to like send me like a text document that I can put in the show notes for this on YouTube so people can read it. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, SJ, number 3.
My next one is one of my only
like and subscribe. I'm so close to being able to dual cast. You have no idea. Please subscribe to my shit on YouTube.
Like, share, subscribe, Patreon.
Donos and Patreon. Don't worry about that shit. But like seriously, like push the button to make my life so much easier on YouTube. Because if I don't have to follow the TOS on Twitch anymore, it means you get the VOD sooner.
That's true.
Don't you want that? Don't you want me to have 1,000 subscribers so you get the VOD sooner? Okay.
Son of a bitch.
That's what you want. All right.
So this is a model specific, and this is my only model specific. Is Slaughter Priest only. I wanted a reason to feel good about taking Slaughter Priest. So this is the Petrified Bloodstone. A stone created from blood of martyrs boiled and condensed to stone. Its internal fury can amplify blood chants.
Yeah.
So, if a model successfully chants Blood Boil and slays a unit, the bearer has the choice of gaining D3 blood tithe points or inflicting D3 mortal wounds on units within 3 inches of the slayed unit.
So they pop or he sucks it in.
Yeah, so he either gets more blood tithe or he just explodes some dude and gets burning blood.
So, while you're on that, I love Frank's enthusiasm, which means I know you made a great artifact. I watched the other Khorne player just go like, oh yeah, like just like I watched that happen in real time.
Yeah, I mean it just gets it's just showing your perversion for D6 mortal wound attacks.
Yes, now that I'm just spamming as many coin flip mortal wound D6 bombs as I can.
You're just making a microwave.
So one of my proposed fixes I didn't get to Khorne was Khorne prayers are allowed to like do as many of them as they want. Like on the War Scroll for Slaughter Priest, Slaughter Priest just says that they can like blood spike you as many times as they feel like. Like
Hey guys.
like the Evocator rule, like where Evocators say they can like do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Slaughter Priests just
let
say
them
that on
blood
the war.
boil.
Yeah, Blood Boil
Yeah,
just
now they're
says
good.
that. Yeah, on the War Scroll. Blood Boil should just say that on the War Scroll for the unit that
And make
casts.
the get over here like it used to be, where you didn't have to roll, like you could move a guy 6 instead of having to roll a 6 to move him 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just put it on the War Scroll on the unit. So
Right,
like
on
prayers,
a card, yeah.
Yeah, prayers still work the same way because I don't mind that thralling mechanism because we've seen that shit get out of hand, right? Like that's the whole, and there's no interaction with other people's prayers, so that's fine to have them limited. But like Blood Boil should just be something Khorne armies can spam. You've got like 3 Slaughter Priests, all of them are just like yo 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 yo, and they're just like fucking hitting you.
And if you make the other heroes cool and they do cool stuff, then it's a give and take. Do I want to spam Blood Boil or
Right.
do I want cool heroes?
Right, and you can already take
Those-
Cockatrices and spam Blood Boil anyway, right? Like so.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
fine.
right now with monster keyword as it is, like I get Blood Boil from Cockatrice.
I'm going to give a little like olive branch. I think there's a prayer like that in the DOK book that should also have that same thing that you can cast this. If you can do this one as many. Yeah, like that's fine. Like just put that in the
olive
prayer.
branch is, why does Doc Priest get to do 2 and I get to do 1?
But
what happened?
But again, like you can just put that on the prayer. You put that on the end text of the prayer on the War Scroll for that thing. You
Yes.
can do that. That's a design space you can 100% do. It's as old as it tested and old as time. It says it with arcane bolts for Nagash. It says it for evocators with their little juice up spell. Just put it on Blood Boil. No reason not to. No reason not to across the whole Khorne army. All right, there. I gotta. This isn't quite a rabbit hole, but like you were on the subject, so I forgot it earlier. I really wanted to talk about it. It was a good opportunity for it.
Do I need to go twice in a row to keep us kind of even?
No.
Or are you going next?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Like keep me going. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm saving my favorite one. My favorite one's going last. So
I
this
agree.
is my second.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Cool's charred icon. So Korgus Cole's like little thing on his head, right? This model can pile
who can
in
wear
and
this?
activate
Who can wear this? Who can?
anybody.
Anybody.
Or
Anybody in Khorne.
I mean, yeah, I would say Bloodbound probably. There it is. This model can pile in and activate from 8 inches.
Yes.
So they get the Driveway Stalker. They get
Move
+2
on.
to Unbind, and if they are successful, D3 Mortal Wounds. Counts as a general and can be given a Warlord trait. And command abilities that can only afflict mortals
Double
and
Jennies!
affect demons. Double Jennies.
Yeah.
CAs that can affect demons if there is a mortal requirement, so he can use command abilities for mortals on demons because he's so fucking cool. So my idea with this is like, Cool's technically dead, so why don't we just make the Mighty Lord upgradable to be cool in rules, but you can also use this on other guys. I just want somebody else to be able to pile in from 8, and I sort of like theme this as like, you know, it's his icon, so you get all the cool stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, you get the
I like the
literal
idea-
cool, like as in Korgus cool stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that. I want an artifact that makes a guy a general. I feel like that's like something we haven't seen.
An artifact to make someone
Like-
a general is honestly that's so that's one of those things where like you said that and I would steal that in my item design ideas going forward. Like that's such a great idea. That's such a awesome idea. It should just be canon in this game.
Because it's like, oh man, if only I had another general in this game that now cares if your general's alive.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put a cool hat on him. It's good. What a-
I saw the
Literally,
actually.
cool hat.
So you're gonna actually him, and then you're also gonna explain the driveway slide while I go use the bathroom
Yes.
for the first time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Kids are in
Driveway
bed, by the
slide
way.
for-
Kids are in bed.
Yay.
For those of you who don't know, Korgus Cool is allowed to activate and pile in from 8 inches, which means he can be all the way across the map. Just, you know, he doesn't move that fast, but he can run and then pile in. So he's waiting outside of your house in your driveway. You're taking a shower, and you get a text, and it says, "Look outside." And then he's there behind you, killing you because he's not even
splitting
close.
your reality.
Your reality has been slain. Yeah, so he can just sneak out of nowhere and just delete something if you're not hip to the game, as they say.
And this is where this book really shows its age, with no double Jenny.
No double Jenny. Yeah, that's a 3.0 thing.
That's well, it's like a 2.85 thing.
Late
Everyone
2,
does
yeah.
it. Because
Catacross
Corvus
has
Cool's
it. No,
his
he doesn't.
command ability only works if he's the general. There's no universe where
God,
you
I
take
forgot
Corvus
about
Cool as your
that.
general.
In Gore-Tide only, because it's a Gore-Tide specific
Yeah, so you have to be Gore
thing, right?
He has to be your general. Who in the fuck is doing that? Like
Nobody, man. I did it once. Wasn't
That's
worth
an
it.
ancient rule.
Even with his old command ability, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what that was. I think he let like 3 guys reroll 1s or something.
He should be our Ratachad the Based. He runs around, electric slide, erases things. That's his job.
I'm waiting. I think the next one you should do the write-in. We'll see if it's the same thing.
Oh, we're gonna do the Halo one.
I want to finish on my favorite one because it's really
Okay,
it's really
we'll do the Halo acts of doing a thing when Mr. Meph returns.
Okay.
There's so
agreed.
many of the like if Cool was in Gore-Tide double Jenny.
Dude, sick. I'm in. Let's go.
Fixed him. Yeah, we were just talking Meph. Like Korg is cool. This is where this age of this book shows. There's no double Jennies in Khorne.
Right. No. My trick is I listen on my own.
You listen. Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Beautiful.
All right.
So
I think we're gonna do the Halo. We both had a conversation with him, and I think it's the same artifact, but let's find it.
Yeah, this is somewhere between an artifact and probably needs to be a thing that Khorne just does naturally. So this is Halo's acts of doing a thing.
Is this the blood? He fucked with blood tithe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
a
demon is chosen to fight, you may spend 1 blood tithe point. If you do, add X to this weapon's damage value, where X is equal to the number of the current battle round.
That's not the one that I have, so I'm really happy about that because now we get 2 different ones.
Yeah. So that's somewhat similar to my Skull Taker one, but using blood tithe as a buff is exactly what we're talking about at the beginning.
You're fire breathing in magic terms. You're just just dump it.
Yep.
Flush it.
Yeah.
It's way more impactful here because there's multiple attacks.
Okay, so you, Frank, have your Halo one.
I have board wide. This is a board wide effect.
Yeah.
Ready? Let's fucking go. If your enemy casts a spell, roll a dice on a 3+, you get a blood tithe. Done.
Ooh. I like that a lot.
If they cast a spell, 3-up blood tithe.
Like that it's cast, not resolve, not like,
Yes. Nope, it's cast. You wanted to cast? Here you go. You're making me mad.
And so that's if they do the cast, so you can still have a chance to dispel it.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
Yeah. Ooh, I like.
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah.
And on top of all our anti-magic stuff, which Khorne is really good, and we didn't mention, Khorne has the best anti-magic in the game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, the skulls went up 20 points, but that's a small price to pay. They were undercosted at 40. They were so good.
Yeah.
And even without good. Like, I'm averaging 3 dispels a turn. With
the Skull Altar is minus to cast. The Bloodsecrator makes you reroll successful casts. The dogs that everybody has.
They should because it's such a punishment for the army to not have wizards.
Oh yeah.
It should be offset.
Fucked.
Like no, like I mean this is as a balance thing. Like you don't get wizards, it should overcompensate the other direction to where people who have wizards are at a negative game against you.
They're scared to cast.
That's how it should be. That is literally that's how it balances out. Because like, the thing is if I sneak in my wizard buff, I have broke the rules of reality that in a manner that you can't interact with the game anymore. So like the trade-off should be, it should overcompensate. There's this whole like thing that Games Workshop doesn't do very well, where like they don't get penalties right for stuff. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like
there's no penalties.
Or like they'll like
I'm like shooting.
They penalize things way wrong. Like they don't understand that like trade-offs like they'll do this thing where like if somebody gets a buff that's like okay, they'll be like, well, that buff is okay, so you should have a penalty. And it's like no. Or like
you get to do all this bullshit.
yeah.
You get to cheat with magic like
Yeah,
a
they
coward.
just they
How
don't
dare you?
they've not quite like figured out that like trade-off. So, yeah, sorry. The only thing I would add to your item, because I love it, I adore it, is just a minor static buff. +1 to prayer. Something, just any random.
I thought that, this was Halo's like suggested item to me. So I was like, it needs like in addition something.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe like you get that 3 up and you get the blood type point and +1 to unbind.
Or a bravery. A bravery boost. Like just
Or
something.
anything. Doesn't matter.
Anything minor that is
Just a little
static.
spice.
Yeah, just a little spice. I would just do like +1
maybe-
bravery to stuff within 8 inches.
Maybe you stack it where it's the first one's +1 bravery on the board, and then next one you get that 3+. Now it's a 6 up, basically Undying Legion on the board, and now it's like
Nah, that's
as
too
you stack.
much.
That feels too heavy and too math.
I like the cleanness of like if you cast any spells, you motherfucker. I'm getting blood type.
I do like it.
You're
as
gonna
is.
pay.
It's so clean. Yeah, super clean. Super clean.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Arm-
really like
army
that.
ability, please.
Yeah, just
SJ.
Yeah.
Are you ready for number 5? 5? You got 5. Yeah, this is 5.
Oh, is it mine up now?
yeah. I think you go 2 in
think-
a row now. You rattle off 2 in a row, and I want to watch
Yeah.
Frank improv one
Yeah.
because he said
I
he's
can't
got a
wait.
bonus
I
one
thought-
in between.
With what
I'm
he's learned so far.
I'm saving my last one. It's my favorite.
Yeah. So it's funny that our banners are basically named the exact same thing because the naming mechanic
Banner
of Khorne is
blood.
low rent at best. So this is the banner of writhing blood.
Yeah. Let's
This
go.
gore-drenched banner drips with the souls of reavers who died without drawing blood for Khorne. The anger is palpable and whips the frenzied followers of Khorne on further to avoid such failure. During the
You
combat
said
phase,
palp- Oh, God.
select any Khorne battle line unit wholly within 16 of the banner. Roll a die. On a 5+, this unit may be chosen to pile in and fight again this combat phase. You may add 2 to the die roll if any unit, friend, or foe has been removed from play within 16 inches during this combat phase. So this is where your
So
blood
something
origins
dies.
start.
Yeah, this is you're getting the fuck pit going.
Yeah,
Because
where it's just like
you're like,
killing
okay,
stuff.
run
now
the
you can
guy
do
in.
stuff to
Yeah,
fight
don't give a
again
shit.
Even easier, and you
Let
just
those
whip
reavers
this
die.
mosh
I'm
pit
just
of
gonna
blood
feed them.
reavers.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
This is the party starter.
And
I
just
think
with
that you
this
said
banner,
palpable
I would run
because
reavers.
it's blood. Yeah. Well, because they get the buff from being
We
near.
we
a
would
totem,
run
so you
reavers
don't-
that give them a rend and drop their points. Like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Even
lots
the-
of-
even with
just
the-
let him hit on
Yeah.
3s for God's sakes.
Yeah, well, can't make them too good on 32s.
yeah.
They're on 32s.
Oh, 32s is the death blow. Yeah, for God's sakes, just
Yeah,
tell
that's
us
the
we
worst
can put them on 25s. I will rip them all off with my teeth. 32s are way too big for this shit battle
Yeah.
line unit.
Probably. I like that one.
So
I like that it's battle line only. Also helps the bloodletters do something.
It helps bloodletters a lot. I just didn't want it
And-
to be like a 5-up. Your bloodthirster gets to go again, or God forbid,
Right,
Scarberry
'cause
gets to go.
we already
again.
have
That's
that.
a little much.
It's battle line,
but-
so they're not doing a lot of damage, generally speaking, anyway. But if you stack your banner and my banner, holy shit, dude. Those guys are punching.
Yeah, if they could trick you into running 2
Imagine-
Bloodsecrators, which you do not get the bonus for 2 attacks on, you would just
I
get
do
them
it.
with artifacts.
You'd run the Throne of Blood, man.
The Throne of Blood
That's
with the
a
totem.
totem.
There it is. You just sold the Throne of Blood.
Oh, this is the list.
All right,
So-
so, I'm
Building the
going.
list right.
Doc's got 1 item left. Yeah.
Yeah, I got one.
I'm
Let me do
going
my
to-
last one, then you'll do your last one. right.
Yes, because I got 2 left. So
You're gonna
I
do
got-
one
you
more.
got
You're
2
gonna,
left,
you're
and
gonna double
you-
up. You're gonna double up.
You
You're
do
gonna
one more. Yeah.
oh yeah, so
Go ahead.
mortal trophy. This is like because I haven't seen this anywhere, so I want to start this trend.
Okay.
This is the screaming blood madness for a mortal hero.
Okay.
Decades of roaming the mortal realms, murdering and consuming
I-
human flesh.
I hear Jack Black reading this. Don't
Are
you-
you saying that this mortal adornment is insanity? You're making insanity an item?
Maybe.
Well, reset,
Keep
reread
going,
it
keep
because
going.
I just
Keep-
hear
start
Jack
from the
Black. I
top.
want everyone to hear Jack Black when you read this. So go on.
The mortal realms murdering and consuming human flesh has driven this hero to madness. His screams are now the things of nightmares and rattle even the most disciplined. This unit can select Roar Monstrous Action in the monster actions phase, for even if it's not a monster.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Yes. 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 I want Khorne to like
and just fucking.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
10 out of 10. Perfect. You don't need nothing. That's it.
No, it's 10 out of 10.
You can roar with an Exalted Deathbringer. You can roll with the Blood Secrator.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, just an item that says you get to do the monster thing once, or you get to do the monster thing now. Yeah.
Death metal.
You can choose roar.
Oh,
during
fuck.
that action.
Dear
That's
God,
so
that's
good.
beautiful,
Oh
says
my
Northrax.
That's so good.
It's perfect. It's like also the design space you just opened up for all of the AOS community. And I want everybody to know that this was said here right now first by SJ, by Jack.
SJ.
Yeah.
The
Like
king.
when any content creator that goes on here to make their shit like that says the stuff that was just said here now, they've all ripped Jack off. That's
I can't.
Yeah.
That's the best one, dude.
Yeah. No, that design space you just opened up
can't get over
was
that. How
perfection.
good.
Yeah.
It's on theme. It's
Perfectly
cool. It's thematic.
Metal.
It's good.
Yeah. Brutal.
It encourages you to run Mortal Only.
Boo. Like
Because
they've got
Mortal
the
Only
fucking
has... Is there a Khorne Mortal monster?
No, the Korgor, the Exalted Korgor? I don't think that's a monster.
Are you talking the Forge World Squat Rack?
Yeah. It's
Well,
a squat
here's
rack.
bonus point. Squat Rack, the Exalted Korgorath, doesn't have the Korgorath key. What the
Keyword,
fuck?
right. Well, because Skullfiend
They could have
tried.
put it in his name, dog.
Squat rack. The dump truck.
The dump truck.
the
I
Disney
can't-
Pixar
I like-
mom dump truck ass, like just
I can't get over that fucking That artifact is so fucking sick.
this is
I
my
can't-
favorite from the design aspect, like just purely
Right.
like the design space is amazing.
You just model them with like a fucking sick guitar or some
Well,
shit, like an axe with a string. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a home run.
They're
It's
just
a home
like
fucking
they're
run.
they're currently standing on like a fucking Pride Rock outcropping, you know, with a volcano erupting underneath them, and the volcano is a volcano of blood. And they're just like, boom, like they're fucking striking that G on the fucking like base, you know, like just.
Enemy models, their helmets are just rattling. They can't hear anything.
they're fucking like. I'm so
Based.
how am I gonna follow that? Act?
Based.
That's the fucking coolest.
Do we let CJ go another time? Then you no.
No, I got it.
No, you got it. You got it. He can't go 3 in a row. All right.
Skull of the Berserker Lord. The bearer of this item gets +4 to their attacks characteristic. They cannot be healed, and they must charge every turn if able. They get +4 to their charge rolls. So they have +4 attack, +4 to charge. They have to charge. They can't get healed. So it's just you just making a missile. In addition, once per game, you can crush the skull. If you do so, pick one unit within 3. That unit that you've selected attacks with all of its melee weapons against the nearest unit, including itself. The artifact is then destroyed. So this is the Wrathmonger move on an artifact. So you get the guy in because you know he's got +4 in charge, so of course he's going to get in. Then you pop it, and it's like, okay, Archaon, you're hitting yourself. Okay, cool. See you later. Bye-bye. So I love that one.
I love it too. It's a once per game. It's OP.
So you get the bingo card, right? You get +5 attacks and +4 charge, or +4 attacks +4 charge, equal 8, by the way. So you get the guy in there, and then he pops, and then it's done.
So the only thing I would do is for the crushing the skull. You got to roll for that.
Yeah, it's too good.
Yeah, like because the Archaon slapping himself is. So like you could
It
be
just
like
deletes him.
you could do a thing where like if it's a hero, roll a d6 on a
Sure.
fight.
Okay. I like
so
that.
like it can slap if it's a regular ass shit. It smacks itself on like. But then this is where I want like you're already doing something great, which is like +4, and you must charge, which is a downside. It's a downside that you have to charge if you must charge. Like, so
Right,
that's
and
already
he can't be healed either.
can't be
Not
healed.
that it
So
really
we've got
can't
two
heal, but
downsides, which means that the die roll is going to be a fair one, a 3-up.
3?
It's
Yeah.
a 3.
Okay. Done.
Yeah, like it's
I just want that effect back.
because you already have, like, again, you've already baked in 2 like downsides because it like can't be healed and must charge.
Right. So
But you got to have a die roll
flavor-
on a thing kid like on an Archeon Nagash or whoever
that's
can
fair.
kill themselves. You got to have a die roll
Sure.
on it. So like you
The
just say
idea is,
if
like-
it's a hero, 3-up, then it does the thing. And boom.
if I wrote
fixed.
flavor text, right, this is a berserker, right? So he's just running in and he's
I mean,
fucking
come
stuffing
on,
and
you were
giving-
writing guts, but like, go on.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm still those wounds are still fresh, man. I'm not over that yet. But yeah,
Dude, but
effects on
wasn't it the perfect ending though?
it. It couldn't have ended in a better place. It really couldn't have. It really, and SJ hasn't read it yet, so I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And it's really funny
I
that
love
we
this
were in the exact same design space because this next item also has a once per game destroy weapon do a thing.
yeah.
So
Tell me
very
more.
interesting. This is called a cracked soul axe. Demon weapons created. This is for mortal heroes only. Demon weapons created by mortals can be unstable. From either poor smithing or too powerful a soul, they can be incredibly dangerous for the bearer. Upon the destruction of such a weapon, possession has been known to occur. So, add -1 to rend, +1 to damn for one of the bearer's weapons. That's its base passive. Once per battle at the beginning of the combat phase, the bearer may choose to destroy the weapon, doing D6 mortal wounds to an enemy within 1 and D6 mortal wounds to itself. If the bearer or target has been slain with this ability on a 4-up, place a spawn within 3 inches of either model.
See, you don't need the 4-up.
Yeah,
I probably don't.
No. Like so, like I added a die roll to his. I'm taking away the die roll from yours.
yeah. I
You
think
just
that's
get to-
so it's
Yep.
+1 rend, +1 damn. You can break it, and if you break it, you do like a fucking spawn off.
Yeah. So
And if
both
they both
heroes
die,
die,
you get
they're
2
both
spawns.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
because
That's
the
fine.
fragments of the demon soul just coagulate
Cool.
with the dude and just
Yeah.
turn
And hey,
into a spawn.
Respawn's pretty good,
Yeah.
Yeah, Khorne spawn's not bad.
and you're breaking an artifact to do it, so I don't think that it's unfairly
Like,
cost.
this is
what's
the
his
kind of
spawn
thing I
cost?
can
Like
see.
55 points.
Yeah,
Fitty.
you
Yeah.
slap him on
Yeah.
an exalted Deathbringer who's just roaming around, and he accidentally
fucking
gets
every
your good
artifact.
hero and D6s himself and does more
Yeah.
damage than he was
Like,
probably
oops.
going to. Yeah.
And you get 2 spawns out of it. Jupes in chat. Destroy this weapon. Fight your opponent in real life. Just fucking
Great
swing.
time.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah. No,
I like that one.
I take
think,
away the die roll from yours. Like the die roll. No, you don't have to roll to
Hold on.
see if that you get the spawns. That's fine. Like it's no. You're breaking an
I
artifact.
I think the brutal death metal scream is that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one, man.
No. Well, the
That
design
was
space
just-
is just
It's clean.
yeah, perfect.
There's
It makes-
nothing to say.
It makes the most sense for Khorne too, because like they are
Right.
like Death Clock the army, right? Like
And it's one of those ones like you say hate word soup. All you have to do is go, oh, that guy, he can roar in combat.
Yeah, done. Clean. It's so.
No explanation
so
needed.
so
Oh my god, Jupes, you can play with these. Play metering. We'll do it.
no.
We'll do a fucking live, man.
I need these artifacts written down. We're gonna compile them because
They're on
Jupes
a
is
word
like
doc.
this series has me fucking hype, and I'm mad I can't play with any of these artifacts. What if I tell you
Oh, yes.
the long con here is some kind of a tournament? It's a narrative tournament, right? So like everyone's gonna like frown on it or whatever. But what
All
if
right, now that the
what if
real
there-
gamers are here?
But what if there's some tournament down the line where we essentially do a play test of our artifacts that we have designed for
Holy
this
shit, dude.
down the
That's
line in about a year's time, like
Holy
little less
shit.
than a year, but be around like in October, the best month, if you
Of
know
course.
me or you follow me for any amount of time. What if this is all culminating towards some sort of like payoff tournament in October of next year?
Meth.
If you play me or Frank and ask to use these artifacts, and we're gonna say yes.
But there are people that you can be TTSing with
Mm-hmm.
in the meantime.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want a
We
game?
can
I'm gonna
use these
ask you
artifacts.
before the game. Oh, you want to play Soul Blight? You mind if I use my wacky artifacts? Like it's gonna
Is the
happen.
narrative that you're out looking for these magical items? Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Yeah, P good. Like there's some sort of like the narrative is that like the there is a reality warping stone that has penetrated the mortal realms called the Mephisto, and the Mephisto has it's like has some folks questing for it or whatever. It's a MacGuffin. There's a MacGuffin in the realms.
It has raw
Meth's
Tema
magic
energy.
artifacts together.
The
Who's-
Tema
who's-
energy that orates from it.
Kernigat, that's Noops.
Who's
That's Kernigat. He won the OBR from fucking first year of
oh,
RantCast.
that's such a good deal. Meth, who is next? Who's next in line for artifacts? I'm fucking hyped up, dude.
Jupes, SBG. The Soul Blight Great.
SVG?
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Well,
Jupes-
I better
Jupes
see
SVG.
some skeleton action, man.
Because
I
they
need
need
some
artifacts.
skeleton action, man.
there, we've had some conversations. I feel like Jupes and I might be kindreds because like just from our like, and I've been like way too busy to like have some like super in-depth conversations because he's a writer as well, and so it's like there's some shit there. Like there's that should be good. Maybe I can bring like Brendan on. I don't know. Like I think Jupes can like hold the spotlight pretty well by himself.
Oh, Brandon probably has some cool ideas.
But if we had Brendan on there too, because like right now this like the Triform has worked pretty decently, so maybe all of these have like 3. Because you want like I don't want it to be like an A/B conversation where you're just like bouncing ideas like off the wall type thing.
It's
You know
nice to have like
that trifecta, right? So maybe I bring it.
a hype.
Well, and
Yeah.
if you want it to be 2 readers, 1 announcer, I mean, me and Frank can just sit here and go like, "Hype, yeah, that's great, love it."
In a perfect world, I have made something way better than myself, and there's like a network of people that carry on the thing going forward. Like what does Rantathon look like without me right now? You know.
Right now, it doesn't happen. You're still the blood of that one.
Yeah. So like, ideally, I make something that outlasts me, and so on and so forth. But like, we got some hype announcers and stuff. Just a teaser, no
Meth,
rules, just a name. Splinter of the Impaler. Bound and do. Like immediately thinking
Meth,
Vlad Tepesh. Like, oof. Yeah.
Neff, I have a artifact idea for that. I'm gonna run past you.
Just
after
DM
the show
me.
is
Yeah.
over.
Like, get it at me. Like,
Oh,
don't.
I think you might like it.
This is a tease. Like, we'll tease it now. Like, yeah. So those.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, so next up is Soulblight Gravelords in January. So I've got my schedule mapped out for the next 2 months. January, I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 of these, but I have a few guests that have been kind of on the backlog of just people I've wanted to talk to for a little bit. So I might have to double up on shows in January. And February is an unforgiving month. It's just super punishing. The idea is to do 2 to 3 of these a month. I know we're in the holiday season, so it's like we're edging people a little bit. We've only have 2 of the Great Enhancings. We've got Khorne, we've got Soulblight, and then theoretically in January I'm going to have like 2 or 3, and then February I'll have 2 or 3. So this is going to be an ongoing series. We're going to go through it. It's going to be more of these shenanigans. We're going to like sort of talk about the book, state of the meta, wish list a little bit, blah blah, and then we're going to dive into the artifacts and get into guts, get it like deep up in there. And I hope that people, like, obviously the world isn't going to conform to my reality necessarily. I'm working on it. But
So far, so good.
yeah, but people are going to hear this, they're going to listen about it, and they're going to reimagine how they think about artifacts in the game of Age of Sigmar. And because I feel like people kind of swallowed a poison pill when it came to like artifacts with Mortal Realms, with the Malign Portents artifacts. Like they got the wrong message out of that, because there was like too many of them, and like, and and the wrong lesson was learned. It was to make a few artifacts and have a couple
make them good. Like instead of making them fun, they want the good ones.
Well, and
I want
make
fun
them
ones.
universal appeal.
Yeah, having
Right.
these having 2 artifacts that everybody can use across all their things, and they ended up in this sort of homogenous zone, which is the opposite of where
Right.
I think artifacts should be. Like you can be homogenous with your traits, where everyone's got a +1 to wound, everyone's got a +1 to cast, everyone's got a +1 wound on their war scroll. You can be homogenous with your traits a little bit. How do you modify your hero? Artifacts should be the thing that have the most personality possible for your army. Magic items are quintessential to fucking fantasy. It is
into Warhammer.
It's actually the
that
most
became
important.
AOS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Building your own hero in Hero Hammer back in the day was building all those artifacts to make something that was awesome. I want a Dwarf Lord that auto hits, ignores spells, all this kind of zaniness, and just unleash him.
So for the Skaven episode, I'm hoping to get Tronzo, who's if you're in the Midwest, you know.
Oh.
If you're not in the Midwest, you don't know. I'm hoping to get Tronzo, and I'm hoping to get Vince. That'll be like a
my
mega
God.
episode.
Vince with carte blanche. Woo-wee.
So I don't think Vince has I don't know. Vince doesn't go outside the box way too much. He's got a very analytical, very it's fun. It's stuff like that. But I'm hoping to get I'm hoping to pull Vince.
Skaven's gonna.
I'm hoping to
let
pull
him
Vince
use
out of that
Vince.
because Vince kind of got to play the straight man, a little bit, On this, he's got to be the take all comers. He's got to keep up the kayfabe, of everybody's paint daddy. I'm hoping to get him outside of the paint daddy mode. I'm hoping to pull him out of that a little bit more.
You want the greasy rat core.
Oh, I want the guy who's obsessed with Slanesh and is a greasy rat. I want to pull him out of that. So I'm hoping to get those 2 for Skaven. We'll see. We'll see. There's so many great people in this community. Chat Gang's the show within the show, and I've pulling up off the bench of Chat Gang, and that is a infinite bench of talent and great people, and I love Doom and Darkness. I love Mike Sales. But one of the criticisms he had of my show really early on is I don't know who this is, and I don't know what your show is about. He'd say when he saw my episodes or whatever, and he was giving me helpful commentary on how to boost my stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going to Chat Gang. I'm gonna keep talking to the people that I have a rapport with that hang out, and we
I mean,
that,
you have people here that I'm gonna be thinking about that microphone guy screaming into the fucking blood volcano for the next 3 months.
This
So,
is where this
if
show
that's
is
not-
cursed.
Yeah,
Because you can't
if
have
that's not powerful, I don't know what is. I'm not gonna get that out of my head all night. That's the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life. And here he is. He's right here. SJArcade. This is what it's all about, baby.
Yeah. That's
That's
why
what it's all
that's why I
about.
can't wait for people who love their armies they love and paint and play them and get in the mindset of that army, who will then write artifacts, not just some
Right.
Why
It's
have
not this is the
27
good one. It's
artifacts if they're no good. Who cares?
Let me tell you about the good shit. Right, this guy yells into a microphone really loud, and other
Yeah.
people can't use command abilities.
well,
It's oh,
I think y'all have both this is why I love doing this fucking show, is I'm a smart enough guy to know that I don't know all the things I want to know. This my great crux is I'm smart enough to know that I don't know enough, right?
Yeah, that's a good place to be.
And while talking to talking to you two tonight, I just I had my horizons broadened. I'm a pretty smart guy. I'm smart, and I'm I didn't even think of that. Several times tonight, I'm just
right.
Where my
There
mind
it is.
with from both of you with the stuff you brought up and the angles, and it's I feel like we lose sight of that as a community because we look in the analytics and the meta watches and the data and the numbers and stuff like that, and I feel like we lose sight of what people actually physically truly want to play. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like-
and I think a lot of it is like the creativity gets buried under painting because it's like, oh, this is the creative part of the hobby. I'm kit bashing and I'm painting. Where like really the creativity has no limits. You can do anything with anything.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
creativity in the list building, the creativity in the models and the sculpting, and like the creativity in how you play the table, which is why like some of the battle plans we've had recently have just been like minefields of genius for me. Where it's like, oh yeah, that's so fucking sweet, because like the fucking like like how you even how you even begin to think about like attacking somebody on the table. Like now you have to like stand back and like stroke the goatee, and like the creativity should never stop in a game like this.
Like,
And I
I'm
think
just gonna
that's
make
where
Frank
it's
start
best.
drooling on there. Imagine your Lord on Karkadrak with Roar. Like, that's all you need.
Jupes
Yeah.
just dropped
Taking the
1,000
jack
biddies,
off.
100, 100, 100, 100, 100 biddies. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, we're gonna move
15
into
Hondo.
into the final soapbox.
Ooh.
Yeah, the final soapbox can be related to anything and everything. Your moment to stand and abuse my platform within reason. Obviously,
Ooh. Cool.
y'all know what the within reason.
We're
is.
not gonna.
No, like I've had people come on my show and have been like, the final soapbox is like a part of the thing. It's like our format is cold open, intro, rabbit holes, blah blah. And I'm like, in the final soapbox, you can come on and do like the final soapbox thing. And then they're like, I can talk about anything, and I'm like, well, not anything, because like I'm not gonna platform like garbage opinions and like terrible people.
Right.
But like the final soapbox, something that's not necessarily related to what we've been talking about tonight, but something that's like
Right. It's a
been
nice
in you.
nugget to leave with.
Yeah, something. SJArcade.
SJ subbing in real time.
Yeah, into the future. Like he's got his
And
phone on the desk.
gift
And,
dome.
he's dropping the gifties. Dropping a little 5-drop in the chat
He's
there.
He's gotta do it while CJ's not watching. Oh, one more.
Yeah. What a Chad. SJ. Oh, they're just popping off. Like there it
He's
is.
blasting. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, and
There
so
you go.
anyway, I
8
started
Khorne.
blasting.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, so
What a guy.
the final soapbox, is it about Street Fighter? Is it about how I need to play fucking
The Gear Scribe.
yeah, I've
Oh
got
my
it.
God.
I stared at it. I was going through, like, I was installing, like, because my computer exploded.
Yes. Here comes CJ. With
You
He can't take it.
What
He
is
lost
that?
Rantcast and he can't take it. He lost Rantathon.
Oh, man.
what a god.
I was, what I was about to say is I was going through my, I had a bit of a,
290% hype.
Ruby Ra's going to be interrupting me this whole time, but I had a bit of like a conflict this week. I had like several nights in a row where like I worked way too late, but I got home and then like I sat in front of my computer and I did that thing where I just like I spaced out and I didn't do anything, and I made a Twitter post where I'm like I feel like I should be productive tonight, and then I wasn't, and I just I watched wrestling, by the way. That was what I did that night. It was pretty dope.
Mm.
AEW is great.
Yeah, no, AEW is excellent. And, dude, that pay-per-view was way better than I heard the reviews for, by the way. Like, I saw a lot of people,
Pretty
like...
fucking good.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, shit. I'm like, yo, like, the whole, like, low card was, like, basically A or A-plus matches. The whole low card was, like, A or A+.
If you didn't like Punk winning, you just got worked. Congratulations.
Yeah. I didn't want him
You
to go
say
over
it was-
clean was my only thing. Like, I just...
love it.
I wanted the build to be a little bit more substantial towards his heel turn.
Now Eddie has to try. Now Eddie has to compete.
Anyway. No, it was great. But like I had this thing where I'm like, oh shit, like I felt like I was just like, are these as distracting for everybody else as me, or is it just me?
It's just, I mean, I think you hear it more than we do.
Oh yeah, we can't hear him at all. So
Oh
we're just-
yeah.
we're loving life.
Yeah, no, no. So I got it in my. the thoughts that I would like play video games and I'd stream and I'd like the vigor I have for Meftober, where I make it a point to like play scary games every night and stuff like that, and I haven't like hit that same stride of gaming and streaming basically in the last 5 years, and the only time I do is October anymore. And I was like, this week I'm like, God damn it, I'm gonna try. And I went through my stream library, and fucking Guilty Gear was staring me in the face, and I had flashbacks of like missing like the fighting game community and shit. Or I'm like, I could grab my controller right now. I can go grind the computer, like just doing like how you basically get into it is like go play the story mode.
You warm up.
Yep. And then like get my ass kicked on like the 5th or 6th part where like the AI suddenly jumps up in like skill level, and then I have to like pause it and go back and practice my combos the way you do. And I'm like, man, I want to be in that world again, where like I'm grinding games again some way. And I reinstalled Disco Elysium, and like my whole like Steam library unfurled before me, and I still felt defeated and like unable.
All those summer sales staring you in the face.
Yeah, and I just gonna commit or do the thing. It was just, I don't know. It was a bad way. I was in a bad way this week, but this isn't a downer moment. It's tonight like reminded me of why I love gaming and specifically AOS so much. The possibilities, the hope of it all.
There's so much room in this game. There's so much. We're not close to the walls yet.
Not even a tiny bit. So that was my final soapbox. Doc.
Oh no, Jack's going first. He can't get the last word.
Okay, he can't get the last word over you this time. You're right. Jack. All right, Jack. Yeah.
No, so I was just my rant's just gonna be how 40K is a better game, and we're just gonna talk about that for.
Get that shit out of my face, man! You throw it out the window.
So 40K. No.
Get that shit out of here.
No, my soapbox plug thing is whatever is come drink with me on Sunday, because Cast 4 will be there. We're talking Thanksgiving wine. If this is your first hosting job or first hosting gig in a while, learn something about wine that goes with America's favorite day to eat that one bird. There you go. And CJ Obusta is great. Oil Chad extraordinary.
Nice fella, you know?
Oh,
never met him in a live. Played our first game, and I was like, "Wow, what a nice guy! I love that guy."
If you're in either Discord, find me, Frank, CJ, Alebeard, Jupes. What are some other good TTS games you've had?
Oh man, I mean, I was teaching some other people from another source, but anybody, you've named them all. Fucking sick, dude.
And if you
anytime.
If you have not done TTS, all of those people I just listed will happily teach you how to use TTS.
It's real easy to get it set up.
You will be shocked that it's legal. How is it legal?
Oh, Rocco, your boy, of course. How could I forget?
Yeah, of course, Rocco.
Fantastic TTS.
Now Rocco doesn't go to the Haywo Discord anymore, so we don't get to really talk to him anymore. But I won't speak anymore.
I talked to him. Jeez.
Yeah. But
shit!
Get on there and wake up, take a shit, get out of bed. Yeah, I do want to play. I want to play Hades on TTS. That's my number.
I want that on stream, man.
I want that game.
You gotta show them.
Yeah.
Shit, man. I can't get over that artifact. I'm still thinking about that artifact.
Out of all of them, I thought the one everyone would be psyched for was Insensate or Incandescent Soul.
That one's cool.
Thirster exploding.
Don't get me wrong, that one's sick.
I didn't realize
it's just that the other one
was going to hit so hard.
It hits because it just works in every way that you can think about. The conversion potential is dynamite on that. Oof. Sweating, that one's amazing.
Yeah, the roar fact has been the hot.
Roar fact?
Yeah.
I can't get over it.
Rocco hasn't been on. Was he in the flats to begin with?
for about 3 days.
Maybe. I think he's just been really busy. Yeah.
He hasn't been in the chambers either. To be fair.
No.
Like,
Yeah. He's been
I
running.
don't think he's in flats at all.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
He's all right. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still shocked that Halo has a Discord. I can't believe we tricked him into getting a Discord.
Dude,
virtual fist bump.
All three of us, right? Like in the video I shared today, in the super secret chat that nobody knows about. You can watch the video. It's like episode 80 of AOS RantCast. You can go back and watch AOS RantCast 80. So like I'm the one who has a reputation for being like incendiary and like speaking my mind and like being the dirty leftist openly and so on and so forth. I have never dropped a neutron bomb the way Halo has.
Yeah.
It
was RantCast 80, a year of Warhammer and life in review with Halo.
Yeah, like I have never gone that fucking hard in the paint. And like I have the reputation that's worse than it is, man. Like it's
You are the most dangerous man of Age of Sigmar.
I am.
Back.
No, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy a little bit. Like I got tagged into some Twitter drama like yesterday or the day before or whatever. Like I wasn't even like paying attention. I'm just fucking working like, 10, 12-hour days and just like distracting myself with Discord while I wait for my slow-ass computer to upload photos and shit. And then like I do the conversation. I go out and do like 3 or 4 tickets and then get back in, like boom, see where the conversation is in Discord. And like it helps me get through my day. But yeah, so I got like tagged into the conversation. Imagine my like surprise where like I'm not really paying most attention to like Twitter. I'm like, yo, damn, whoa. And this was a topic for Nuance, and Twitter is the place Nuance goes to fucking die.
Of course.
So I'm like, I don't want to like someone tagged me, so like I felt obligated to respond. And if you're in chat gang right now, I don't recognize your Twitter handle, but you're probably a normal chat ganger. So, like, please let me know if I'm, like, talking to you in a roundabout manner. I don't mean to be, because Twitter is Twitter and chat gang is chat gang. I'm sorry.
Twitter's not real, folks.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, like, I don't, like, malign anybody for, like, tagging me and shit. Like, I'm not that person who gets mad at seeing notifications for Twitter. I'm not that person. There are people like that. That's not me. I was flattered a little bit, but I'm like, yo, I can't fuck with this. Like, I can't talk to this. It's just, again, Twitter and Nuance and me, a verbose guy. I never say the perfect paragraph in Twitter where I put all the nuance and I make sure to disarm any like counterpoints to what I'm trying to say, and like I never say the perfect thing on Twitter. Like it just doesn't happen for me.
Yeah.
So Yeah, no, that was fucking weird. Not weird, no, it was like weird cool.
Unfortunate.
No, yeah, and I'm like, I don't know how to fuck with that. For what it's worth, I don't want to be vague. Ricky Smith shared a model. I said, you guys don't need to weigh in on this. Ricky Smith shared a model. It was the Bastion, and then he like put a I don't know, like a White Scar's head on it and painted it like
yeah,
not black or whatever, and Jacob Berry responded to it, and it got like weird from there, and I'm like I don't think person made model on purpose to like whitewash or like be a supremacist or like a hater or anything like that. I just don't think he thought about it. And I think that's very common for people in a position of privilege to just not think about it.
I certainly didn't think about it when it came up. I was like, oh, is that a...
And I'm not saying that's necessarily fine at every intersection of reality, because if you don't know, you don't know. But other people do think about that stuff, right? And when you're made aware of it, you need to interrogate the thought a little bit and be like, well, yes, no, or hey, I don't know. And that being said, yeah, I don't, like, again, I think,
and this isn't going to be too in-depth or this isn't my neutron bomb tank. It's great that GW made a model and that's more inclusive, like Bastion. That's great that he's part of the lore like that. He's already set and he's cemented in the lore for good. Once another person buys him, you can do whatever you want with them. That never takes away Bastion being Bastion in the
Sorry,
game.
you're not rewriting the character.
Yeah,
If you want to
three
turn
white
him
guys
into
the most
your
equipped to
Chaos
talk
Lord,
about this.
whatever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Like, he's already there.
Very
Sorry,
cool.
nerds. He's there for good. Boom. And everyone else gets to do whatever they want with the model they purchased. As long as, just like what Pickle says, just don't do anything cringe with your stuff. If I have to explain what cringe is to you, get some help. Like, don't make me think of everything outside of the game board.
Well, and
I think about my little world.
I think this is where the nuance lies in Kicker, is the not having the conversation when it was raised. And here's the thing, is like Jacob was being a sassy prick, and he knows he was. And it took him a while to admit to it, and that muddled the whole thing beyond having a proper conversation. And I want to have Jacob on to talk about it from his perspective, and I wish I could have Ricky Smith on too, and we can like have an adult conversation, but I know that's not going to happen because there is no good faith between them right now, and I cannot force that. I'm going to come off in the bad light. But again, somebody tagged me into it, and now I have to have an opinion on it, and I don't shy away from my opinions. And
making things that like the metal bikini on Fire Slayers here, the brony fedora, that stuff's not cringe. I'm talking like going to a tournament in Spain with Nazi logos on your stuff. That's cringe.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, here's the thing: is like, is it cringe? Probably, but like the context of the various cringes changes. Like,
it can be a meme. Memes can be funny.
Memes are different. Like, and like, there's actually such a thing as like saying like "fuck Nazis" is an apolitical statement, because like Nazis are known to be such a like bad thing in capital letters by society that you can say "fuck Nazis" and be apolitical. In the same way that like you can say like "hooray Nazis" and be apolitical, because then you're being like satirical.
Sure.
Right? Like it's why the Colbert Report kind of worked the way it did is because like satire has this like double standard, really, is the only way I can put it. Is making Daemonettes wear conservative dresses cringe? Probably not.
No. I think that'd be funny, much like the Mr. Clean Nurgle.
Really,
like the weird naked dude. Like making a conservative.
It's really hard to make tiny dresses
with piety or something would be kind of interesting.
Great clean one.
No, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to take this down this route. Like I said, like somebody tagged me in some shit, and so I had to address it.
Yeah.
There was a conversation to be had there. It wasn't had, and I think that was like a little bit awkward. I think I want to talk to Jacob about it, because I know Jacob, and I know where he comes from. I don't know Ricky to know, so like I want to like sort of like stonewall Ricky's perspective and talk to Jacob about it, because I know Jacob. Yeah, I don't know. Like I get like again, to stonewall it and be like, or to stoneman it and be like, Ricky just did hobby shit, didn't think about it. And then I think that's pretty straightforward. I don't know. It was. I said I would like address it on my show, so I did.
It's a nuanced topic that has stuff you can talk about. Whether or not that stuff talk about has any like, we get to the end and we declare this is racist or not. No, it's a discussion to have.
I don't think he was racist. I think there's some implicit biases, in the same way that like somebody says like, oh, I don't see race. Like I feel that's a little cringe. Like,
don't lie to me.
Like, okay, because like, you know, like biracial family guy. Like, I learned a hard lesson about race when I I wasn't aware of it very young, which is the world interacted different with my brother versus me. I didn't know why early. I didn't have the language of intersectionality yet. Like, I had no fucking clue. I just know that both of us got arrested from running away from school, or sorry, running away from home, and one of us has it on their permanent record and the other one doesn't. Guess real quick, who has it on their record right now and who doesn't? Guess. Anyone want to guess? Guess who has running away from home that turned into disorderly conduct because it's the only thing you can really charge either of us with. Guess who still has it on the record? Is it me or is it my black brother? I'm gonna make this real easy for everybody.
Yeah.
The world reacts differently, and again, to be the like, oh, I don't see race is it's the colorblind take is kind of cringe. And there are people whose reality is race, like, because they are singled out and stuff. And so the colorblind take is like cringe or ignorant and so on and so forth, but it doesn't mean it's malicious. And that's the thing that I think Jacob Berry missed when putting Ricky on the spot, because people all have biases, implicit, explicit, internalized, and so on and so forth. We've all been raised in a certain kind of society, a certain kind of way, and none of us made it out of it okay. We all have some shit to deal with. Okay, every one of me, I have shit to deal with. I get to confront every now and then that, like, I've neglected some of my better judgment, or I have to confront that shit from time to time. Okay? Like, none of us are fucking awesome and perfect and so on and so forth. But this is where the good faith versus bad faith conversations with people would go a very, very long way, and I don't think that ever started in that fucking Twitter interaction.
Oh, well, it never does. It never has time to build who's coming from where and what the thought process is. It's just name calling pretty much immediately.
Yeah. So again, the nuance and the so on and so forth died on Twitter, and I felt I had to address it because I was tagged into it, and I said I would. So hey, I've done it. Above my pay grade, I guess, but also.
Fair enough.
SJArcade subscribed a tier 1 sub for 20 years. Thank you so much, SJArcade.
That's almost 21 years.
SJArcade, by the way, from the Caribbean, and has the best main in Age of Sigmar. Jamaica, as I recall, specifically.
What is it?
SJArcade's from Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
There was uh-huh.
Well, no.
Watching people check their, like, implicit, explicit biases. Like, because SJArcade appears as white, and so like, talking about, like, fuck, yeah. So, no, world's complex, and the only way you get there is by, like, taking people a little bit in good faith and trying to, like, talk and figure shit out. And the not conversation happening, I think, was, I don't know. I don't blame Ricky for disengaging from it, and I think Jason was being a little bit of Jacob was being a little bit of a woke scold, but here we are now.
That pun in chat. Oh, don't ever say Jamaican, you crazy. Oh no.
Never again. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and like this is where
KP minus.
This is where this design space for UMEF's going to be great, because instead of the same, like we all like, even when Vince has a show coming up on something, it's like, okay, I bet Vince kind of comes at it from this. I bet Halo kind of comes at it from this, but like fresh mains of armies showing up and talking about what's going on, what they can add and have some fun, inject some fun in, is going to be such a.
Here's what I've always wanted.
Yeah.
Here's a guy screaming into a microphone.
Thanks for saving me, by the way, because I could have talked about that in a circle forever without an answer. Because I don't know. I don't have fucking answers for that shit. You're gonna tag me in. I think talking to people who actually play the army at every level is way more important than, like, coming at it from a, like, here's the guy who just won the tournament with the army, or here's the content creator whose favorite army is that. Like, Nothing against any person who fits that category. You're doing good. Keep doing good. But like the average person in Age of Sigmar isn't that person, quite frankly.
No.
The average person in Age of
I
Sigmar
mean,
isn't me. I'm sorry. I'm like way cool and super awesome at death stuff and have an eye for design.
Do you think
I'm
that
sorry,
the average
human who owns this shirt, you're not as cool as
Yeah, you're not as cool as the person with the Halo hat, the fucking Halo shades, and the big shirt. Okay, that's just a different level.
I totally lost. Do you think that the average Age of Sigmar player is in the community? In a community?
Great question. Wow. Ooh.
Oh, by the way, Sigil, I want you to know, get used to Sigil. I'm calling him up for Sylvaneth, so get ready to like confront your biases, everybody. You fucking losers.
Let me get that Spirit of Greg artifact there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for that one.
No, go on. Yeah, I sorry, cut you all off.
Yeah, I think that the average Age of Sigmar player is not in a large community, like we are.
I completely agree with that.
Ooh.
It's just somebody in his local club. Like we're on the internet.
I am a part
like,
of the
there's
community.
various pockets, right?
In my group of 7 guys, none of them are online talking about this shit.
Right.
Most
Most
we
of the
meet up
people
and
I
play,
play
and we talk. I'm the only one who's in any of these things.
Miniac did a poll where he said 75% of hobbyists say they've never played.
Yeah,
I think that's.
I'm friends with my GW rep, and just tens of 20s of people a week come in, buy starter sets, and you just never see them again. They're just gone.
Either play at home or they just never play at all.
Yeah, collected, and now it's on a Facebook Marketplace for me to steal from them.
Hey,
gotta love those people who don't know, who have a bad intro, so I can steal their models.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the community aspect is like finding a tournament to go to in the first place was like super hard. Like, like even people who want to play a tournament. Yeah.
So like, I got into AOS in a place where nobody played it. Soul Wars came out, and I started playing it. And then those people don't play it anymore. I've since left that place. I was never going to get into a community in this at all, and then randomly found your show, and now here we are. I'm on a podcast talking about
my show, huh? Yeah.
Well, yeah. It was your show, man.
Oh, really? Was it mine first?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm part of the community. Hell yeah, man. I didn't go on Twitch at all before this either. So it's like, oh, here we go. How many Christmas battle boxes should a Khorne player get this year?
I'm sorry, I don't think of my show as the entry point. I think it's like people have already played like AOS for a little while.
No, man.
And they just drop a tab of acid or like they get that fucking psilocybin shroom and then they go down like a YouTube trap of like watching Vince Venturella or like 16-minute Halo and like maybe Rob Symes makes fun of me on a video or something like that, and they suddenly find my show. Like I just I don't think I'm the jump off point.
I just showed up. I was there for RantCast 1, I think. Was I there for the first one? I don't remember.
The first one had audio issues. You'd remember. You can't find the first one. I think you were there for 2.
Oh, the true first one. Yeah, that's right.
No, nobody watched the true first one. The true first one doesn't exist. It's been scrubbed from the internet. The first one that you can interact with is 2, which is OBR as well.
Well, either way, I wasn't going to be there. I wouldn't have been a part of this community. So it's very likely that other players either don't play the game, don't interact online. You know, they might play narrative for all we know. And I don't think narrative is a bad thing. I think that's it's logical for people coming from D&D and stuff. They're going to get into a miniatures game, right? I want it to just be in its own book and just move it all.
It's so close to being good. Like they're moving it in the right direction. Like Crusade for 40K is so good. So like keep moving it in that direction.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah,
even Travis here, he's in with the random Stormcast army that he got on Twitter. Like
that was Soren. W. Soren did that. Like I didn't want to do giveaways. I don't want to do giveaways.
Did you see fucking Travis's cool ass army? Have you seen it, folks at home? Have you seen the cool fucking pirate army? Because it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you should take a look.
See, you
So
just
yeah,
got to do
it's
giveaways based off of very very hard things, like guess all the battle forces and win wings, and then when nobody
yeah,
does it, I get wings.
yeah. Do a contest. Yeah, guess the right thing, or I'm gonna order chicken wings for
No, no.
myself.
Yeah.
I told I did this for Mephistober. I told a couple people I'm like I'm gonna do a stealth giveaway this Mephistober, and then I had like something like 20 entries into like the stealth giveaway on the final day, and I gave away $200 worth of Meph merchandise. Molly's still mad at me because our Capital One card got paid off twice now, and I fucking jacked it back up again. No, it's fine. We're fine. We're fine. No, we paid it back off because y'all like did a fucking CJ. You did. SJ, like a bunch of people. Dinma did a bunch of like donations. Like I'm caught back up, but like I'm just gonna like give people a bunch of like shirts and stuff. I'm like, is that do self-aggrandizing? I don't know. Like I don't want to do giveaways that like make people come watch my show. I want to do giveaways that like reward people who already watch my show. Does that make sense? Like I don't know how to like do that. You know, like because
I
I'm
think
like,
a lot of
hey, if you already watch,
people that the
Go
people that are already here kind of like want to foster more people to get in, right? So that's real time donating again. Here he is.
yeah,
the
here he
mad
is
dog.
in real time again. Yeah.
Talk
I
amongst
think-
yourself.
Like I would love to have a giveaway to give like some person that maybe can't afford to get in or they're not sure. So like here, take this stuff and see if you like it, and no big deal, right?
Yeah.
But like you want to reward the people that have been here, and I think the people in chat gang, want to like pay it forward, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful thing.
That's essential.
I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And here comes CJ doubling the amount because this rivalry will never end.
You know, CJ, you lost at Rantathon though. Like,
Yeah.
like you had the top dono spot.
That's
but you
why this is happening. He won't be vested a second time.
He refuses to be outdone. Do you? Hey, hang on. I got some news for anybody. This is only the most hardcore. We're at the 3-hour mark. Everybody else has gone to bed. Nobody's watching the VOD still. We've got a fucking Warma Hordes army for Rantathon to give away, and a 40k army to give away.
Hey.
Shit, 40K?
Fully painted on both of
40K
them.
is the best game. I told you.
Guess real quick what army has been fully painted to give away for Rantathon.
Space Marines.
Who am I?
Matt?
Who am I?
It's fucking
Who am
Necrons,
I?
man. Of course it is, man.
Yeah. No. I don't know if he wants the shine, but dude's like I'm painting. I'm starting now. I'm painting 3 armies for next Rantathon.
My God.
And he's like I don't know how you feel about giving away like 40k stuff, and I'm like, we gave away 40k stuff both years. Like we got to have 40k representation because like it's like more people play 40k than they do AOS. Like I'm never gonna. You dance with who you took to the ball. Okay, that is quite frankly how it is. You dance with who you went with, right? Like I am here. I am an AOS dude. I make the AOS community built me up. Like I'm never ever going to neglect the AOS community. I'm never ever going to neglect chat gang. You're always going to have the chat gang block. You're always going to have multiple of them. I'm always going to do my show where I bring people out of chat gang. We talk with, like non-content creators. We talk about the people. We talk with the people who are the grassroots of the community. That's what this shit is. Like that's what it is. But like yeah, like 40k should be represented, and like Atlas Games gives us board games to give away. Like we're gonna rep board games and tabletop RPGs, all the nerd shit that like, because all that stuff intersects with who I am, right? Like I'm not just 40k, or I'm not just Age of Sigmar. Like I'm, I've played 40. Like I'm all those things. But what's the most 40k version of Meph? It's Necrons. So there's gonna be a Necrons army available too. Yeah, and it's like
I've been desperately trying to figure out how to do a Decant Cast theme giveaway for Rantathon, and I can't figure it out because alcohol is so screwy across America and across countries.
Well, like,
I'll figure it out.
Like, I don't want to, like, I'm in this point now where I'm, like, hyper aware of people who are on the wagon and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to, that's why, like, we keep, the drink game is milk, right? It's milk, and I don't want to, like, be explicitly
Or
about
Pepsi milk.
Yeah, like I don't want to be explicitly about like drinking games and so on and so forth, and that's something I've had to confront, which has made me less fun because I'm a woke scold and who's, look at me being a pansy or whatever.
You are less fun. I have
I
noticed
know,
that.
I know, I'm not as much fun as I used to be. No, like how do I? But no, I want to go back to the core of this. Is how do I do giveaways for like chat gang that is chat gang? And not do the thing where like I get a bunch of randos who just show up for free shit. I'm like, I don't.
You probably just keep it in the Discord. Those are the people who just hang out there. If it never touches Twitter, it's really only touching chat gang.
Sure. So like what you're saying is that like maybe like Decant Cast 5, there's just anyone who's watched, there's some sort of like giveaway involved for just the people who watch Decant Cast 5.
Yeah, I've got to figure out something. Maybe it's a private lesson or something. I don't know. We could do you, me, and Holo at Rantathon, and we'll have 4 or 5 different energy drinks, and we'll do a tasting sommelier through energy drinks. Oh, this is the White Can Monster.
You're gonna get some
2019
fucking Milkies. Milkies is disgusting. I can't stand it. So
yeah, you're all speaking a foreign language to me right now. There's some 40K discussion going on. Like I have no fucking clue, no idea.
My people, where are they?
Let's go faster.
Like I have no idea.
Done it. We've infiltrated. This is a Gene Stealer cult incursion that's happening right now. It's a 40K show.
Four Roses was clutch. Yeah, no 40K show. I don't know enough.
Oh, you're welcome, Kicker. Yeah, 4 Roses is delicious. I love 4 Roses.
Yeah, the LRL box. Dinma, by the way, you're still supposed to DM me because you passed on your draw from Mephisto to somebody else, and I was going to send you a fucking gift card. You asshole, but you haven't, like, messaged me yet.
Hey.
I need your email address.
Do it right now. Do it right now.
Didn't he give his stuff to me? Like it was the tokens in the salvage org?
On-air logistics.
Yeah. A lot of people have paid their shit forward, which, by the way, I love. You should. That's dope as hell. But like, there's people out there like, you won something. I want to give you something. You entered the giveaway. Why would you let me give you something?
Right.
So.
Yeah, all my beautiful AOS tokens.
I watched the video, and that was what you bought. Fine, fair, Dinma. Fine, fair. It was a good tune too. Like that was a lot of fun.
These beautiful, beautiful tokens, including the one that's like Vegeta.
Yo.
Like.
Oh yeah, those are great.
The plus
I have those. They're over there.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where did I put these damn things? I painted my thing like I bought the little box for it. It's got like a Khorne thing on it. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Gentlemen. It's been an enticing and exciting.
Final soapbox. You got to do it now.
Yeah,
you ready?
Yeah,
here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we'll leave.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
And end stream.
All right. Sometimes it's okay to take a break from this hobby and try something else, because you might find that when you come back to this one, there are things that you've learned to appreciate that you might not have before you did. I took a break for a long time from painting, from playing, from even thinking about AOS, and I came back and I remembered why it's so cool and why I like it and why I'm so happy to be here tonight to tell you about all the cool artifacts that don't exist. So just because you feel like you're a part of something and you love something so much and you never want to do anything without it, sometimes taking a step back helps you see it better than you could have. So maybe try pursuing some other things and coming back to painting if you don't feel like the magic's there. It'll come back because you're here for a reason, and that reason is because Age of Sigmar are pretty fucking cool.
Word.
And there you go.
Chat gang. You're the show within the show. The reason we do this thing. Remember to drink your milk.
Drink your milk. Pay your taxes.
And we'll see you next time.